have their services disrupted if the federal government shutdown is still going on by November. The county has sufficient funding to maintain these programs through this month, but future impacts are uncertain after the start of the shutdown's second week. Kern DHS states that if benefits are not available for November, that they will notify residents. Officials advise residents to keep submitting reporting requirements to maintain their eligibility. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for, live from the KERN studio. Here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday, 20th day of October, the birth date of one Tom Petty. So as you have probably surmised by now, we're going to go wall-to-wall Tom Petty music. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like... Isn't that Tom Petty? I hope so. We got a busy Monday broadcast coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk with Dr. Jeet Singh. My life could drastically change tomorrow when I find out the results of my second blood test after my PSA number jumped dramatically. We'll find out whether it was an infection or whether it is something more serious that I have to deal with. We'll talk about that. And ALS, better known as Lou Gehrig's disease, amyotrophic sclerosis. I'll explain why in just a second. Kathy Abernathy will be here at 4 o'clock as per usual. And it was supposed to be Lauren Skidmore, but someone, and I have it in my phone, I just didn't write it down, from the Open Door Network is going to join us. It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and tomorrow they're having a candlelight vigil at Compassion Corner right across the street from KGT 17. So we'll talk with her at 4:30. And coming up at 5, I'll tell you about a murder trial for a police officer in Illinois, Springfield, which, of course, Chris, you know, is what?
Springfield,
Illinois.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank of why I would know this.
It is what is Springfield, Illinois?
One of the Simpsons?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It's the capital of Illinois.
Okay.
A police officer who shot a woman who was unarmed in her kitchen. I'll unpack that for you.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I got we got a new thing we're going to do. Just miscellaneous audio. And we'll probably most likely do it on Mondays when I destroy Chris's weekend by sending him a ton of miscellaneous audio that I get. And some of it's great. Have you listened to any of it? Like the 60-minute thing on Shohei years ago?
I did listen to a little bit of that one.
It's so good. It tells Shohei's life story. So I had to play it. After the single, and do you disagree with this, Mr. Sports Guy? Early Bird special from 7 to 9 on, is it still ESPN?
Yes, it is.
ESPN 1230. That it was the greatest postseason performance in the history of baseball. And I agree with A-Rod, who is calling Mr. Ohtani the single greatest athlete on the planet right now. What do you have to say about both of those comments?
I agree with both of those. I said the same thing on the show this morning. It's definitely the best performance we've ever seen from a pitcher in the postseason, regardless of anything. But
Bob Gibson once hit a home run in the World Series, but that's as close as we can get.
Yeah.
Nobody's hit 3, and he hit it out of the stadium.
Huh.
Let's do the test. Do you know the 6?
The 6, I'm sorry.
That have hit it out of the stadium.
Oh, okay. McGuire.
True. And a Bakersfield girl caught the ball.
Oh, you know what?
She didn't catch it. We interviewed her. She didn't catch it. She picked it up. It was rolling in the parking lot. Her and her dad had left early,
Uh-huh.
and McGuire hits it out of the stadium, and they see this pack of people running in the parking lot. They have no idea what's going on, and they look down, and there's a baseball rolling, and she picks it up, and the thundering herd comes to a halt, all disappointed, and then they realize it's Mark McGuire's ball. All right, so you got McGuire,
We're obviously counting Shohei.
Shohei.
Sammy never did it, did he?
Who?
Sosa?
No.
Didn't think so.
There is a current player in Major League Baseball that did it.
Yelich?
Yelich.
Yelich was hitting home runs for a while there.
Not out of stadiums.
Nah, that's fair. That's absolutely
Although
fair.
this guy doesn't really sound like a power home run
I say it
hitter.
wasn't Bryce. I know Bryce doesn't hit it out of
No.
your stadium.
Nope. He's in the National League West. Come on.
Outfielder?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. I'm assuming it's somebody from the D-backs.
Nope.
No. Okay,
Nope.
Giants then.
Nope.
Really? A Rocky?
Who's left? Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Who's left?
That's all I'm trying to think on their roster. I can't think of anybody on that.
Padres.
Manny? No,
Yep.
Fernando.
Yeah, sure did.
Absolutely.
Sure did. Wilbur Stargell did it twice.
Okay.
And a former Dodger did it. Although he's not known, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's not known for
He's
being
not-
a Dodger.
To me, he is, but I think the majority of his career was on the other coast.
Piazza? No.
Yes,
Mike Piazza?
Mike Piazza. So we will talk about that, and you'll hear that piece. Plus, I've got some other great audio. Gino Valpredo on homelessness,
I do have that.
talking with Carlos Benavides the other day. And I got some other stuff that I want to share with you as well. Rush Limbaugh on Charlie Kirk. When he first met Charlie Kirk, and he talks about how this kid is going to be a superstar, and he was absolutely right. But we begin, get Chris. Do you have Chris Orr's number? We begin on a sad note on a couple of fronts. Let me begin first with a friend of mine. Hang on, I want to read this. Well, let me start with Billy Burke. He is one of the surviving World War II veterans. I
Do you want
posted
me to
this.
call Chris?
Yeah,
Okay.
I posted this on Facebook and on Instagram. He was a tremendous man who Chris Orr, longtime listener, was his guardian. That's why we're calling Chris. And he was on the trip on a flight 51. And I got to spend a lot of time with him because I know Chris as a loyal listener.
Hello.
Chris, Ralph Bailey.
Hey, Rob, I'm here.
Appreciate you coming on the program, man. I don't have a lot of time, and you're at work, and I don't want to waste your time. But tell us about Billy Burke, World War II vet.
I met Mr. Burke about a year and a half ago through work, and just was just such an amazing man. So alert, totally on the ball, personable, just a really good human being. And we talked about his service, and my dad was a World War II vet, and that's when we talked about honor flight. And then he decided he would go, and it was the most amazing experience for me. And I know I talked with his family. His granddaughter had texted me, and she said he passed away Saturday night, and up until that day, he was talking to the hospital staff about his honor flight experience. So,
Really? Oh,
really.
that is so cool to hear. So you were instrumental in him going.
Anytime I have a patient who's a veteran, I always mention the program to them. And just this past week, I've had 3 veterans that are going to look into it. That I
Nice.
had on my service.
Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. And I was just talking to Erin. You remember Erin, the redheaded Marine?
Yep.
I was talking to her because you had to go do something at Fort McHenry, and you asked us to stay with Billy. And we got to tool him around Fort McHenry. And there were some, I guess, like 7 or 8-year-olds, or maybe even 9-year-olds who were at Fort McHenry that day in Baltimore. And we wheeled him up, and they all kind of gathered around him because I told them this is a World War II veteran. And I said, even if you don't know about World War II, you will learn soon. And remember meeting this man. And I remember asking them, how old do you think he is? And of course, they said 70, 75, 80, 85, 80, 82, 85. And then I said, Billy? And he said, I'm 100 years old. And then just absolutely captivated his kids for the next 5 minutes, telling them stories and asking about what they're doing and what they wanted to do for a living. And it was a really cool moment. I'm really glad I got to share that with him. And I put his bio up on Facebook and Instagram. He was just a really nice man. And you're right. He was very alert, very engaging, and led an incredible life. He really did.
Yeah. I hope I am as lucky as he was to live the life he had.
No kidding. Don't we all? Don't we all? All right, my brother. I don't want to keep you long. I appreciate you taking time coming on.
All right. You guys have a great day.
All right, buddy. Love you, man. Take care. And also, Monica Joso Echeverry passed away. She is the mother of a friend of mine, Dominique, and her brother Timothy. I know him and he and his wife, and I've known Dominique a long time. And she was extremely kind to me. I've always talked about this. I don't know how I've been so blessed in this community, the Zucchinis, the Aries, the Valprados, and the Echeverrys. I've had a long relationship with their family. I'm good friends with Tim's wife, and they're just a great family. And yes, she is the daughter of the Joso family that ran Maison Joso's, which is another thing that we miss in this community. And she's just a really special woman, and that's why we're going to talk about ALS at the bottom of the hour with Dr. Singh. Even though he's a cardiologist and doesn't know a lot about ALS, I'm just curious. You know, I know Lance McCullough, who is Emily McCullough's dad. He's been a coach at Garces for years, and he's been suffering with ALS for, I think, at least over a decade. And we don't know much about ALS to this day, even though it's Lou Gehrig's disease. Lou Gehrig died in like either the late 1930s or early 1940s at the age of 38. And we still don't have a cause. We still don't have a cure, and it is terminal. And what I wanted to ask Jeet, and I'm sure he can't answer, but I'll ask nevertheless, is from what I understand, Dominique's mom passed away rather quickly, and Mr. McCullough has been suffering with over a decade. And again, I don't think any physician can answer why that is, but I just wanted to just note that because she was a wonderful woman. And they have plans for the service on Wednesday. And I'll give you some more information on that because I'm incredibly late. Let's get going. Talk a little bit about the peace situation in Gaza when we come back. The president talked about it. Jared Kushner was on 60 Minutes with Steve Wyckoff last night in an incredible piece that just kind of walked through how they pulled the ceasefire off. It's been threatened now with Hamas, no surprise, breaking the ceasefire and killing several Israelis. And I don't have to tell you what Benjamin Netanyahu did. Yes, he attacked Hamas. So there was a period like Friday, Saturday, where it looked like this thing could totally crumble, but both sides, Israelis are backing up. And, well, you'll hear what the president has to say about it when we come back. Then, as I mentioned, Dr. Jeet Singh, 4 o'clock, Kathy Abernathy, and we'll talk with the folks from the Open Door Network. And you got to hang around, if for no other reason today, to hear the 60-minute piece on Shohei Ohtani, where it talks about his childhood, his dad, and the other great video. Because have you seen all the video coming in of the shot out of the stadium?
No.
There's one from a bleacher bum who just got lucky and was able to follow the ball with his phone. And you see it. It's incredible video. And you hear the guy, when it hits the top of the roof, just go, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Have you seen that?
Yeah, but I'm going to need to talk to you about that one.
What?
That one's not real.
No.
It's an AI video.
Are you sure?
Everything that says Sora in the corner is AI. That's not real.
All right, I got to go look back at it. Because this looked pretty doggone.
It's the one that I'm looking at, because I meant to tell you about that or when we went to break, but I think one of your videos might be AI.
Oh. Well, that's not the coolest video I saw. You know what the coolest Shohei Ohtani video I saw over the weekend? They've got video of him getting out of his car the day of the game when he's about to put on the greatest postseason performance ever. And he's got the stroller. He's got the dog in the bottom of the stroller. He's got his new baby girl and his wife are walking hand in hand. That was the coolest video I saw of Shohei Ohtani. We are just getting started on a Monday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN. Yes, no. We're still having problems with the AM, but just go to 96.1 FM or kernradio.com or subscribe and watch me do the show live on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So the city decides to put a gel bed task force together to find more gel beds. And who
Oh, the
better to
Brewer
run
guy?
the show? Well, Councilman Bob Smith. That's
Okay,
right.
good.
Bicycle Bob needs something to hang his hat on when he runs for re-election next year because somebody's going to run
Okay,
against
good.
him, and he's feeling the heat. And what exactly has Bicycle Bob done on his
What does he
tenure
say? He
as
says-
city
does he
council?
make an ice
Anybody?
comment?
Anybody?
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, how does digital dentistry
Yeah.
improve the process of getting dental work done?
Digital dentistry is a cutting-edge technology that creates a highly accurate 3D scan of your mouth. It helps
Well,
you
yeah, I
make a
thought that
more
was-
precise and efficient treatment. For example, with implants, this can allow us to plan procedure down to the smallest detail, which in return speed up the process, reducing the time patients spend at surgery.
And who is a good candidate for the implants?
Almost anyone missing teeth, as long as the patient has enough bone to support the implant or can undergo
Really?
a bone graft, implants are great options. We always do a
Yeah, it
thorough
is.
evaluation to make sure the implants are the best
No,
solution
no.
for each patient's unique needs.
Get the smile you always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Tarkesh specializes
And they
in
can
implants
use your
with
voice?
IV
That's what's
sedation.
crazy.
Visit them online at
'Cause I've seen the one with Caitlin
affordabledentures.com
Clark.
or call 831-7230 to
trashing
schedule
Angel
your
Reese
appointment
and-
today.
ahead and smile.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you
Did
have to
Kendrick
download
Perkins die?
Upside, the free app that gives you cash back
There was
every
that-
time
then
you
that
get
was an
gas.
AI thing
That's
too
right.
then,
You can earn
'cause
real
I read
cash
that
back with
somewhere.
Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation.
No, he's alive.
Yeah, see? And I knew that because it would have been all over. It would have, you know.
ESPN would have ran with that. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. It's like, I don't think so, unless he died like within the last 2 hours. But no.
And you see the whole Doug Martin thing?
Yeah.
He was robbing the place?
Well, see, that's what I don't know about yet.
That's what I'm going to say.
There's two calls on the same time. There's one saying B&E, and the other one saying that someone needed medical attention. And now they're thinking that they were both him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
So-
what Fox is reporting that.
Well,
that he
and-
was robbing the place. They put him in custody.
Right. And
he had a
somehow
heart
during
attack
that
or
struggle,
something.
he probably either lost or couldn't breathe or got hit with something or something. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I
Or
don't
they
know
may
what
have messed
happened.
him up.
Yeah. But apparently he died in their custody before he
Uh-huh.
even got to the hospital. And that's why I'm
Former
like,
Raider.
yeah. But I mean, again, that's why I was like, dude, I don't know. I said it on the show. It's like, I'm going to refrain from saying anything just yet until it all
That
comes
is
out.
horrible. It's
the creamer.
It's sugarless.
Ew.
We give
Its
you that
members.
aftertaste.
United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums.
Yeah, he's
that
the
fit your
guy
life
that,
today, and as your needs change.
The muscle hamster.
Asked his cheerleading girlfriend to marry him on field at Boise State, right?
No, I'm sorry. No, that's Johnson. That was the guy, because that's the year they did the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
That was way before him.
That's not Doug Martin.
No.
Ooh, it's a good thing you told me
Back to
that.
the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Baby, break down.
Go ahead and give it to me. Breakdown. Never saw him live. Never saw him live. Had his albums. Yes, albums. They're these circular things that we used to put on. Never mind. 842-5376, 842-KERN. As I mentioned in the lead-in, the peace deal was threatened in Gaza over the weekend. Hamas killed 2 Israeli soldiers and then killed 4 other Israelis. And of course, I don't have to tell you what Benjamin Netanyahu did. He went in and attacked and once again killed some 60 to 70 Palestinians. And that is the question that I do, Valadeo. It's one of the questions that I asked. We just got back from Honor Flight 52, as I hope all of you know. And a part of the flight is, this began with Mr. McCarthy, who would take us into the House, literally into the U.S. House of Representatives, where the president makes the State of the Union and where they vote, the House of Representatives. And not a whole lot of Americans get to go in there, and we've been able to do that. And you do a little Q&A, and I asked Valadeo both in the House, and then I get to interview them afterwards. You know, hey, everybody's excited about the hostages coming home, but what happens with phase 2 if Hamas doesn't lay down their weapons, if Hamas doesn't give up power? What happens? Here's what Congressman Valadeo had to say.
Well, obviously, no deal is perfect. We don't expect any deal to be perfect. But the world pressure now is going to be on them to make sure they don't do anything devastating and don't continue the same type of process. Hopefully, we get to a point where we can disarm them and take power away from them. But the first step is to stop the war, get hostages back, and start working on getting the bodies back. And it's going to be a work in progress as we go through. But any progress in the right direction to stop the fighting, we have to celebrate. But don't take our eyes off the prize and making sure that we prevent anything in the future as well.
What is Gaza and the West Bank going to look like now?
Well, there's the rebuilding efforts is going to start, and that's going to be up to the people there to make those decisions. Hopefully, something peaceful that will not continue what they were dealing with, because any investment that was being made there over the years was a lot of times, if they put in plumbing, for example, pipeline for water, pipeline was coming out of the ground and being turned into missiles. That type of stuff needs to stop. When there's infrastructure put in, that infrastructure has to stay so they can help the people there survive and flourish.
And as I told you, and I'm not patting myself on the back for this, because you didn't have to be a genius to figure out that there was going to be a void of leadership in that area. And Hamas was certainly going to come back and try to take it over. The president, as part of his 22-point peace plan, has set up an international force that is going to try to fill that void. Jared Kushner, last night, as I mentioned on 60 Minutes, talked about that as being the key to keeping Hamas out of leadership.
Hamas right now is doing exactly what you would expect a terrorist organization to do, which is to try to reconstitute and take back their positions. Right. The success or failure of this will be if Israel and this international mechanism is able to create a viable alternative. If they are successful, Hamas will fail, and Gaza will not be a threat to Israel in the future.
You know, I didn't like this guy at first. I thought he was just a lucky real estate cat who happened to fall in love and get the president's daughter to fall in love with him, which got him involved in government and got him involved in billions of dollars of real estate in the Middle East. And I thought he was kind of just not a mooch, but a guy that just got lucky. No, he's a badass. He is a badass. And the president addressed today what happens if Hamas does get funky.
Well, a lot of steps, and right now it's in the hands of others. You know, we have 59 countries that agreed to the deal. We have a peace in the Middle East for the first time ever. We made a deal with Hamas that, you know, they're going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to. They'll be eradicated, and they know that. So they went in, and I don't believe it was the leadership, but they had some rebellion in there among themselves, and they killed some people, you know, a lot of people. But this is a violent group. You know, you probably noticed over the last 100 years, this is a very violent group of people. And they got very rambunctious, and they did things that they shouldn't be doing. And if they keep doing it, then we're going to go in and straighten it out, and it'll happen very quickly and pretty violently, unfortunately.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. Hamas isn't going to lay down their guns. How many of you believe that Hamas is just going to walk away? And it won't be us. The next question, we didn't get the audio, but the next question that was asked was, would America be involved in that eradication? And he said, no. We've got so many different countries involved. He said, hell, I can just get on the phone and tell Bibi to handle it. And he would love to. And yes, he would. And can you blame him? I would find joy in eradicating a group that is completely and totally dedicated in destroying you and everybody that is part of the Israeli, I was about to say the Israeli government, about everybody that's a part of Israel. that literally wants to wipe Israel off the map. But in the end, the long talked about two-state solution is the only way there can be peace in the Middle East, which means I'm not sure there can be peace in the Middle East, to be honest with you. But of course, I'm always Mr. Pessimistic, glass half empty. Dr. Jeet Singh joins us next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Police have arrested a man accused of threatening to open fire at the world's busiest airport in Atlanta and say an assault rifle was found in his car. Police said at a news conference Monday that 49-year-old Billy Joe Cagle of Cartersville, Georgia, had described his plan during a social media live stream. Atlanta's police chief says the man's family notified Cartersville police, who relayed the information to his department. Israel's military says Palestinian militants in Gaza have handed over another body of a hostage. The remains of 13 hostages have been handed over since the ceasefire began. 2 of President Trump's envoys traveled to Israel Monday to shore up the ceasefire. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 515 points. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Deputies are on the lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with a friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered a domestic violence call in the 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators say the suspect fled in a car with his friend. He allegedly fired several gunshots while driving away. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage Lane, but the suspect was not found. The investigation is ongoing. Wasco police officers had to remove a man from a local Walmart after reports of his erratic behavior inside the store. The suspect was arrested and taken to the Lerdo jail. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. You know, a lot of IT companies try to squeeze your unique business into their cookie cutter solutions. That's why we've teamed up with Adaptive Networks, because they know no two businesses are exactly alike, and your IT shouldn't be either. While other MSPs offer one-size-fits-all packages, Adaptive Networks takes the time to listen and understand your specific challenges, your industry requirements. They build custom technology solutions that actually fit your business, not the other way around. So whether you're a small company or a growing enterprise, Adaptive Networks adapts to you. Their customer-driven approach means you get exactly what you need. So don't settle for generic IT support. Call Adaptive Networks today and discover what truly customized technology solutions can do for your business. Adaptive Networks, because your business is unique and your IT should be as well. Visit adaptive-net.com or call 661-241-0638 today.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk water with the best in the business. That would be Lois Henry from sjbwater.org. We'll talk about Monday Night Football, the latest on the government shutdown, plus news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internets at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
It's a Monday. Time to head to Centric Health and talk to the finest cardiologist in the land, Dr. Jeet Singh. How are you, Dr. J?
I'm good. How are you, Ralph?
I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you, and that's our first topic of the day. I am getting the results of my second blood test back after my PSA. And as I've talked about to my audience on antibiotics, hoping that it's infection. And I find out tomorrow at 10:45, and I'm a little nervous because if it's not an infection, then he's telling me I have to get a biopsy. And I'm asking you, after that, where do we go? If in fact I need a biopsy, what happens next?
Now, once you get a biopsy done, you have to obviously wait for the similar way, the results of the biopsy, and they do the classification depending upon the histology of the biopsy. It could be benign. Benign, basically, you'll see in the reports. Benign means it's not a cancer.
Right.
And dysplastic term means it's precancerous. And if it is cancerous, then they will mention carcinoma. So, it's the staging done by the histopathologist, and that's the next step. Once they classify it, then they tell you what you need to do.
If it's not benign, is surgery inevitable?
There are few options available depending upon the localization of the lesion which is there. They also get up, let's say it's not benign, and they have to go for further treatment. So first they will do the staging, whether the condition, if it's a cancer, has it metastatized in the body. So they order a PET scan, and that basically evaluates the patient from head to the toe. And if that's negative, then they know that the tumor is localized only in the prostate. Depending upon the location, number of lesions, they see it. Then they decide whether surgery is necessary, whether they need to do radiation beads there or chemotherapy. So various options are available. But I tell you, if God gives anyone any kind of cancer, unfortunately, prostate is pretty benign.
Right. Still a little nervous, still a little worried. I'm just
I'm
praying
sorry, but
that it's an
we all
infection.
pray that you do wonderful with your results. And
Thank you.
It comes out good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any way of, is it more likely that it's an infection, or is it more likely, given the jump in 2 years, is it most likely that it's benign? Or that it's not benign, that it's not benign, excuse me, that it's not benign.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's hard to tell.
Well, I will inform everybody tomorrow. And again, I'm a little nervous, but like you said, and I've always known that because we've talked about this with you for years, that as ugly as it is, if you have to get a cancer, this is the one you want to get, and you want to get it early, as I have. And that's why I preach to you all, my listeners, that you've got to know your numbers. Had I not had this blood test, who knows what have happened. You've got to know your PSA. You've got to know your A1C. You've got to know what your blood pressure is, what your testosterone level is, what your vitamin D level is. You've got to go see a physician. You just have to, particularly after 40 years old. If you're not seeing a physician on the regular, you're just being irresponsible and stupid, in my opinion. It's absolutely irresponsible and stupid.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
Cannot be emphasized more than this. Ralph has a very peculiar way of putting it, but he's saying right.
Yeah.
Get yourself checked.
The other issue, and this, you probably can't even answer my questions in regards to this, but a dear friend, Monica Joso Echeverry, passed away of ALS, amyotrophic sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease. And like I said, I don't think you or any other doctor can answer this question because we know so little about ALS, but I'll ask it nevertheless. I know people that have survived with ALS for over a decade, and it's my understanding Mrs. Echeverry passed there was a very brief battle with ALS. Do we know why that is? Why some people live long? Because it is, at the end of the day, terminal, but some folks live with it longer and some others don't. Do we have any clue?
Yes. So basically, the way the condition affects is it's a neurodegenerative disease. That means it involves the neural signals which are spread all over the body. If these signals are affecting the less important muscles in the body, then obviously you have more time spent. But once it gets to the respiratory system of the person and the lungs, the nerve supplying the lungs get compromised, that's where it becomes problem. It can affect walking, swallowing, speaking.
Yeah.
But the eventual unfortunate path is the breathing part. And you'll be amazed. I had a friend whose cognitive abilities were intact, but later they developed some changes in thinking or behavior. So the most important thing is your motor activity gets affected.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Lance McCullough, really good man. He used to coach at Garces. I'm not sure if he went to Independence with Coach Gola, but he's been coaching in his wheelchair for years, and he's on oxygen. You mentioned that it affects your breathing ability. He's literally on oxygen as he wheels around in his wheelchair, but he's been battling it and hanging on for over a decade. It's absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, so it all depends upon how bad the genetics have been affected.
Yeah.
You know?
Are we even close to understanding it? Close to a cure? Close to a reason that certain folks get this? Are we anywhere in the neighborhood?
You know, there was one of the medication which was approved by the FDA, and I think it was known as Relutech. That was the name of the medication. And the way the mechanism it was acting was right at the start by reducing the secretion of an amino acid known as glutamate. And it did extend the survival by a few months, and it delayed in few of the patient population the need for ventilators. And based on that, the research is being conducted at this moment. But to answer your question, in 90% of the patients, it's more of supportive therapy, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Talking with Dr. Jeet Singh as we do each and every other Monday. And I wanted to end on a much lighter note. I found this on Facebook, which, but the benefits of having sex twice a week. According to this, it creates a better immune system. It will lower your blood pressure. It lowers the risk of prostate cancer. It also improves your self-esteem and immediate natural pain relief, which I found interesting, and heart health. It reduces the risk of heart disease and better sleep. And that's it. That's from having sex twice a week. Better immune system, lower blood pressure, bop, 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 bop. Is any of that true? And is that why I'm so ill?
This is a quite a I won't say a controversial topic, but to some extent it is true, because there has been research which has shown that it improves your immune system, and studies have shown that the levels of immunoglobulin IgA, that's an antibody to protect against infections, that increases in your body.
Yeah.
So if you talk about the hormonal balance, it do regulate testosterone, estrogen, oxytocin, and improves. Obviously, these hormones, as you know, are important in muscle strength, bone health, in your mood. Everything increases. So it does have some facts which favor towards the statement. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. No wonder my blood pressure was so high a couple years back. Let me leave you with this, and I'm going to try to pose it as skillfully and as politely as I can. This twice a week sex thing, can you be by yourself? Is that part of it as well? Or must you actually have intercourse with someone?
I think it's more to do with your self-esteem and self-happiness. So
it does put
you have to make a balance to it.
Yeah, it does. It does put a smile on your face when you're having regular sex. There's no question about that. Puts a little pep in your step, and the day just seems a little bit better. You're absolutely right. Always Go ahead.
I hope it helps you in your prostate improvement.
I hope so too. And that's my new line. That's my new line, Dr. J. I'm doing this for I need you for health reasons, baby. It's just for health reasons. That's all.
A great workout.
It's a great workout. It's my new come on line.
No,
I'm trying to improve my immune.
Sure your audience will be laughing at the background.
I'm just trying to improve my immune system and lower my blood pressure. That's all. Always good to talk to you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. All right, you too. Dr. Jeet Singh, sex expert, cardiologist, and overall good egg.
Who better to tell you it's good for your heart than your cardiologist?
Just saying. Just saying.
Good for the heart, baby.
And it lowers your immune system. That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Lowers or increases?
Lowers. Wait, what did I say? Hang on.
You think it's good or bad for the?
It's good.
Yeah, so that increases the immune system.
Not what it says here. It says, better immune system. My bad. Better immune system. So you're right. It increases your immune system. You're
That I
absolutely
had
right.
heard before.
Yeah?
I had heard that before.
Twice
I
a
thought it
week,
was
huh?
hogwash, but people telling each other, "Oh yeah, it's totally good for you," but
Twice a week? You gotta have a girlfriend for twice a week. You
Sure.
gotta be in a deep relationship for twice a week.
Sure.
Unless you
Well,
just player. And those days are long behind the brother. Long in the rearview mirror. Oh, Ralph, you're so. All
I
right.
already knew you were going.
Quick time out. I got some miscellaneous news and notes we'll get to. A former Raider has passed away in a bizarre story that I'll unpack what I know, and what they're reporting is
so weird,
kind of convoluted and weird, but I'll tell you that story. Maya Hernandez, the woman who left her son in a car for hours and one of the boys died, due in court today. And if I have time, we'll get to the bio of Tom Petty and then Kathy Abernathy at the top of the hour. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. Has the government shutdown continued? We will break down the absolute latest on all of
That was funny.
for you. Plus, we will be joined by Senator Marsha Blackburn. She was targeted by the Biden administration. They actually were checking to see who she was calling and what was going on with her cell phone. So we'll break all that down for you. Come hang with us on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, Lucky dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Norma Diaz, owner of La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream.
Hi, I'm Norma Diaz from La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream, and I'm a client and friend of Paul Sheldon. I've known Paul for many, many years, and my parents happened to be his first clients. So, of course, I called Paul and immediately felt this peace come over me, knowing that I didn't have to freak out about making a big decision. His knowledge about Medicare and your health insurance needs are beyond compare, and I was taken care of immediately by his wonderful staff. He knew everything that I needed and what I wouldn't need, so I was pretty much in and out of there in record time. If you're getting to that age or you're going to be needing to know about Medicare, then he's the one to call. He will totally help you out and get you pointed in in the right direction. You're going to leave there feeling a great accomplishment and no concerns. And even if you have questions later, his staff can help you out. Those feelings are just priceless to me. So call Paul. You'll be glad you did.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Going wherever it leads, running down the drain. I felt so good, like anything was possible. Hit cruise control.
842-5376-842-KER. I got some good, finally some good on-flight news. We mentioned at the top of the show that we lost World War II veteran Billy Burke. And I posted his bio as part of a tribute to him on Instagram and Facebook. If you're a friend of mine, just go to that. You can see what served from 42 to 46 in the war. And just a fascinating man. A really good guy, and was, like I said, just April was when we went back there, and I had opportunity to interview him and talk with him, spend a little time with him, and completely aware, engaged, and brilliant, and just a really nice man. And but we lost him over the weekend, just a month short of his 101st birthday. But the good news is, Umberto Sala contacted me this morning and donated $500. Thank you, HA.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, just a really good guy. Just a really good guy. Because he is not a listener of this broadcast, if you get what I'm saying.
He's too smart for that.
He's not a conservative, but he doesn't give a damn about stuff like that. It's about the veterans. And I can't say that for a lot of local liberal attorneys. Not that I'm going to mention any names, David Torres, but who's a Marine, but can't stand me, wouldn't give us a nickel. But that's beside the point. And then we just learned, Salty just called me or texted me and said that the 420 Club of the CHP gave us another $1,000 today. So thank you to them. And I think that probably gets us, am I right, somewhere in the neighborhood of 33, 34,000?
I would say, yeah, 32, 33, somewhere in that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a final count probably by the end of the show, if not tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a great number. I mean, we've done 60, we've done 53,000, but $10,000 an hour.
And to be fair, we did all of this without the AM signal, and I know a lot of the supporters are out of Bakersfield area and Tehachapi and stuff like that, and they probably would have donated as well.
I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. And we scheduled it the day after we got back, which, and I suppose I could have done it from DC. But had I been home, I think I would have contacted more people on that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But you have no idea how frenetic the trip is. That's why I announced on Friday that that probably is going to be the last honor flight trip I'm going to go on. It's just a frenetic trip for me, getting there late and trying to rush up to my room and getting this equipment put together, where I still, after like 4 broadcasts there, I still have to put the camera on and let Chris talk me through it. No, not that button, Ralph, the other button. Literally, I'm holding the phone up, showing him, where do I plug it in? And I've done it like 4 times, and I still need the instruction. And it's just. So we didn't even contact all the people that contributed last year, which doesn't make any sense. And we had some big hitters last year that we didn't even contact again. But probably Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll go through the list of all the contributors and personally thank you all one by one. We had a great group. And again, it was one of our lowest years, but like I said, 11, 12 grand an hour and 3 hours. You can't really, and it'll send, what's the math on that? 20 veterans? What's 20 times 1,500? I got a 480 on math SAT. What do you want from me? 20 times 1,500.
I would send 21.
21. Okay, so we're sending back 21 veterans. That's not bad. That's not bad. Totally free of charge. And again, while I've got the moment, if you know, particularly a World War II veteran or a Vietnam veteran or any veteran, anyone who served, get them on these planes, get them on this trip. It is, as I always like to say, my word was transformational. We've changed it now. I've stole it from one of the Guardians that I met. He pinned, but reconciliation. That's what it really is, particularly, obviously, for the Vietnam veterans. So there's some good news there. 842-5376, 842-KERN. I don't have time to get to any of my audio. I guess we can talk about Doug Martin. Doug Martin was a Boise State running back. He had a pretty decent career, ended up with the Raiders at one point, had 1 year with us up in Oakland. And the first report, and did you get it like this? The first report is that his family announced that he had died.
Yes.
And there was no cause of death reported. Yes. And I just assumed, and it's a good thing it didn't happen on a weekday, because I would have likely came on the show and speculated, as I am wont to do. And because what was your first guess?
I was hoping it wasn't something CTE related, but
exactly.
With the way the guy ran and the way he was as a running back, it would not surprise me.
And the fact in the first story that they reported, they noted that he had 2 concussions during his career.
He did, yeah.
So I thought for sure it was PTSD and that he'd taken his own life and shot himself in the chest like Junior Seau and Dave Duerson, who both knew they had PTSD, but couldn't do anything about it. And Dave Duerson was one of the poster childs for transitioning from being part of the 85 Bears and that Super Bowl team to leaving football and getting a really good, I think he owned liquor distribution. He was a liquor distributor. That doesn't matter because I could have that wrong. But he was a very, very successful businessman. And all of a sudden his children said he changed. You know who's going through this very same thing? I think we talked about this because his children were the one that brought it to everybody's attention. Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
Where his children just said, we can't get around Dad because we don't know when he's going to get violent. And he's going through it. And Duerson and Junior Seau shot themselves in the chest so that their brains could be studied. They knew they had it and couldn't stave it off. So that was my first guess. And I was totally wrong. That's why I'm saying it was a good thing it didn't happen on a weekday, because I would have come in here at 3 o'clock and said, I'm pretty sure it was suicide. I'm pretty sure it was PTSD. It wasn't. In a bizarre story that they're reporting now, he was arrested in an Oakland home, and they believe it was a breaking and entering thing. And that while in custody, they found him unresponsive, and he died later at an Oakland hospital.
See, that's the weird thing to me, is that the way I read it was that there were 2 calls for the same area. One was a B&E, and then the other one was somebody in need of medical services.
And it turned out to be the same guy.
And it turned out to be, that's what I'm thinking, is that from what I read, is that both of those were Doug Martin. Now, this is prior to the cops getting there. There was a struggle when the cops and him obviously had gotten together, and then that is what led to him being unresponsive.
Crazy. The crazy part is he's burglarizing homes.
That's what I'm saying.
Really?
I think it's CTE, because there are many cases where you could be having a seizure while sleeping and your body gets up and literally walks away.
And he was in the league for how many years? Like at least 10.
I don't know if he got to double digits. I think he was close to 7 to 8.
7. Well, that's a nice pension.
It is.
7 to 8. I told you, my best friend, Mike Arier, was in the league for 3 years, long time ago, and they changed it where it's now, if you have a 3-year minimum, you get a pension. And just, I think it's been a year or two, Mike's been getting a check every month from the National Football League and will get till he leaves this earth. And so you in the league for 7 or 8 years, you get, that's how do you think OJ stayed alive? OJ played in the 70s and he was getting $255,000 a year from his pension. Now he played a lot longer than Doug Martin, but you got to believe that if you can make $250,000 from the 70s in your pension, imagine what Doug Martin was making, and yet supposedly a thief. Kathy Abernathy is next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Trump administration will go about 1,400 employees at the National Nuclear Security Administration, the agency that manages the U.S. nuclear weapons arsenal, due to the government shutdown. Energy Secretary Chris Wright.
In Las Vegas right now, soon to head up to the Nevada National Security sites. This is key for our national security and all the interest we have here. Today, workers are being furloughed. Today, the federal government employees. We're working hard to protect everyone's jobs, keep people employed, and keep our national stockpile secure and our things moving forward. But a tough day today. Thank you.
Once again this evening, the Senate failed to pass legislation to end that government shutdown. President Trump is voicing doubts about Ukraine's ability to defeat Russia. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president said while he thinks it's possible that Ukraine can defeat Russia, he's now doubtful it will happen. His comments added a fresh layer of skepticism toward Kiev as he plans to meet again in the coming weeks with Russia's Vladimir Putin on ending the war. Last month, Donald Trump said Ukraine could win back all its territory, but now says it'll have to give up land to settle with Russia. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A problem in Amazon's cloud computing service disrupted internet use around the world. The outage on Monday took down a broad range of online services, including social media, food delivery, streaming, and financial platforms. About 3 hours after the outage began, Amazon Web Services said it's starting to recover from the problem, although problems linger for some users. On Wall Street, the Dow by 515 points, the NASDAQ rose 310. More at townhall.com.
Marijuana club, which is weird.
They say timing is everything in the gold and silver markets, and it's true. Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. Although you can buy at the right time, if you buy the wrong coins, you may not make a profit. When gold was $400 an ounce, many people were talked into buying high-grade old gold and silver collector's coins. Unfortunately, most of the people who bought these so-called semi-numismatic coins, like the $20 St. Gordon's and Liberty Head gold coins, have not broken even on their investment. Incredible, given that gold has risen approximately 525% since then. So while timing is everything, if you buy the wrong coins, the timing simply doesn't matter. Having a dealer who cares about positioning you in the right types of coins or bullion will mean more to your portfolio than anything else. That's why I deal with Nick Rovich and AmFed Coin and Bullion. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. Or go to AmericanFederal.com. AmericanFederal.com.
He's a badass. As I was just saying, I didn't really like him at first. I thought he just kind of married. He just kind of won the lottery.
And AM 1180
Grabbing vodka.
I'm Bill Robbins. Deputies are on the lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with a friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered a domestic violence call at 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators say the suspect fled in the car with his friend. He allegedly fired several gunshots while driving away. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage Lane, but the suspect was not found. The investigation is ongoing.
Wyckoff was really good
Wasco
too.
police officers had to remove a man from a local Walmart after reports of his erratic behavior inside the store. After it was learned that he was armed with a bow and arrow as well as a crossbow. Officers helped Walmart staff to evacuate the store. The Suspect was taken
lost
into
a
custody and
son
booked into the
in
Lerdo
the
jail.
Qatari
The store
attacks
later resumed
when they
normal
hit
operations.
Netanyahu,
Kaiser
hit
Permanente
the
nurses
leaders
wrapped
in
up their
Qatari.
5-day strike
His
on
son, he
Sunday.
was in the building.
According to
He
organizers,
survived.
bargaining will
His
resume in
son
the coming
died.
weeks.
And they
31,000
talk about
Kaiser
that.
Permanente
Wyckoff,
nurses and healthcare
apparently, I didn't know
professionals
this was his
across
uniform.
California
Lost his
and
son to
Hawaii
opioids at
participated
22.
in the strike.
And he
Began
said they
last
asked him,
Tuesday,
like, how did you
October
break the
14th,
ice? He
at
said,
over 500
he
Kaiser
started talking about his
hospitals.
son.
Workers are determined to get
told him
safe
we were both
staffing
part of a
and
horrible
fair
club,
contracts.
but I too am
Residents
very
of Kern
sad.
County who depend on
And
CalWorks
then
and
they- so
CalFresh
they were doing it
benefits
side by
could have
side.
their services
And then-
disrupted if the federal government shutdown is still going on by November. The county has sufficient funding to maintain
Oh, yeah, I
these
was going to ask you
programs
about
through
that.
the
Why'd
end
you
of
have
this
all those
month,
Democrats
but
in
future impacts are uncertain
Oh, I
after the
just saw-
start of the
I just
shutdown's
saw
second
Romo.
week. Kern DHS states that if
Oh,
benefits
really?
are not
Oh, I
available
didn't
for
know that.
November, that they will notify residents.
Nice.
Officials
Little
advise
crossfire.
residents to keep
Nice.
submitting reporting requirements to maintain their eligibility. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Jim, I heard you about that back when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me call from an outside line. I mean it.
Like,
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com.
And he came back and he goes, that's because I'm a popular.
Now, the host
And I
you've
thought
been
that was
waiting
so
all
funny.
day for.
It's really
Live
cool.
from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday, 20th day of October. 11 days until that horrible holiday. Yes, I hate Halloween. And not because I'm that old man that turns his lights off and pretends he's not home, because I don't get Halloween trick-or-treaters sandwiched between 24th and 23rd Street, but it's a silly, silly holiday. But later on, I'll tell you what Cassie Biddle has planned on Halloween night. It's 1001 Nights. She's having a belly dancing show. I'll tell you all about that a little bit later. And we'll talk with the folks from the Open Door Network at the bottom of the hour. They've got an event. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and they've got an event going on at Compassion Corner tomorrow that they're going to tell you all about. In the meantime,
Get your motor running.
head out on the highway. Kathy's looking for adventure. Professor Kathy Abernathy. How are you, Professor?
Well, I'm real good. Got a little cough, so.
Yeah, I had that too. I am blown away that I feel as well as I did. Saturday, I had to go out to dinner, but I could feel it, the scratchiness, and I was like, oh, Lord. But I had to go to this dinner, and then I woke up Sunday feeling even worse, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it through the week. And I woke up this morning, I was like, I feel great. And
There you
the
go.
scratchiness is gone, and
Your other issue
and I
you
was
had
and I
going?
was hungry. I ate breakfast today because I didn't eat yesterday at all.
Oh.
I just drank water and Gatorade. So I thought I was like full on
Yeah.
long flu.
You're not hungry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I woke up today. I feel like $1 million. Yeah, but the PSA is the PSA thing. That's what you're referring to.
The PSA.
Yeah, you said there's another thing.
Oh, no. Well, that other problem you were having a week
Yeah.
ago, your goiter or
My goiter.
I don't know what you call it. I'm sorry. I don't know.
My goiter. I don't even know what a goiter is.
I don't either. You have something.
My
What's the word?
PSA.
Yeah.
Oh, gout.
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 That's with a G. Okay. I was a couple of vowels. I didn't go to med school. I'm just a doctor of
I'm
politics.
sorry. I got to do this. Hey, Siri. What is a goiter?
What about girders?
Is a swelling in the neck resulting from an enlarged thyroid gland.
Oh.
I think my mother had that. She had her thyroid removed.
Oh.
I got to ask her tonight. Do you have a goiter problem, Mom? Came up on my show today. No, gout. Yeah, no, I'm on the drugs now. I'm on the allopurinol daily, so I haven't had any
That solves
problems. Yeah, pretty much. So you've got some sports things you want to
Well,
discuss.
first, I went to my first professional ice hockey game.
Really?
Saturday night.
And it was a
because
ball, wasn't it?
It was, I had no idea it was so violent.
Yeah.
Wow. What, first, well, the
Is this
reason.
Condors?
Yeah, but it was the B or A team, the lower team. I guess they have two teams.
The Condors do?
Yeah.
Chris?
I'm going to need some more
Well,
information on
they
this
were
one.
playing San Jose. There's the Barracudas and the
Okay, yeah, no. So the Sharks would be the NHL version of
yeah.
that.
So there's NHL and AHL.
But it's basically
Yeah, we're AHL. This
feeders.
isn't,
Oh, okay.
This isn't NHL hockey.
Oh, okay. Then that's that. But my friend, the son of a woman I worked in Congress with, he's playing there, and Patrick Giles, and so that's why we went. But I have never been. It was packed. I mean, the tickets aren't so cheap either. Packed, but the hitting and the so fast everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't watch that ball, that puck.
Puck.
You can't. I know it's a puck. I said ball. You can't even see it. And then we were right behind one of the goalies. And no, it's wild. In baseball, within 2.5 minutes, people would have been thrown out for what they were doing. I mean, you can't elbow somebody in baseball. So that's really surprised me. Have you been to those games?
Oh yeah, I've been to NHL games.
They got to be worse then.
Yeah.
Tough.
Oh, it's much faster and much more physical, and the fights are much more. Did anybody fight?
Yeah.
You saw a fight?
Yeah, I guess it was short. There was nothing too long, but it was still. Yeah, they gang up. They're all. I've never knew that went on. I'm just used to this slow, happy pace of baseball.
Yeah.
But so no, that was. And then the kids, I think that's why so many kids are there. They probably love that.
Oh yeah, the crowd wants a fight.
Oh yeah,
there's no question about that.
Yeah,
I did when I was on television doing the 2-minute tape, the editorial thing. I went off. I can't remember what my position was, but there was a period where the fighting got really, really bad, and they were talking about. Do you remember this, Chris? You were probably a little kid. This is probably about 15 years ago. But they were talking about like raising the penalties for fighting or something, or trying to eliminate fighting completely.
Still trying to technically,
yeah.
But
and I was like, that's part of hockey.
Oh yeah, they don't.
That's just part of hockey. And the
Fans
reality
don't like
is, fans love it. They love it. It's like, to be honest with you, it's like crashes in NASCAR.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like it, but we like it. We do. I mean, am I being wrong about that?
30% of people who watch NASCAR watch for the crash.
Yeah, which is spooky.
It's a rough sport, and that's why people go to watch it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that anybody gets seriously hurt. I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Nobody.
Not during the
Well, the
fight.
goalies
No.
wearing a
Pretty tame.
Santa Claus outfit. I mean, they got.
A
So,
Santa
they
Claus
are
outfit.
because their legs look like this big because they're so padded.
Yeah.
So. no,
Yeah.
it was.
No,
it was interesting.
yeah, the refs get in before it gets ugly. If one guy starts to
Yeah.
dominate the fight, then the refs
Well,
get in and stop it.
There's
Well, I wonder if the teams are told to encourage it because if it was all nice
Well,
and nicey.
I don't know if they encourage it, but all teams have what is called an enforcer, where
Oh,
he's the
who-
guy.
It says.
Yes. And if you have a superstar, like let's say Wayne Gretzky, he is not to be touched.
Oh.
And if you touch our superstar, we will send our enforcer and we will find you 17. And at some point in the game, we will send you the message, you don't mess with Wayne. And they will take you out and fight you. And that sends the message, don't mess with our superstar.
Doesn't that happen though in baseball when they throw the pitcher?
Yes,
and they
it's
think
very
they think
nice.
It's on purpose.
Kathy, not bad. Don't leave me hanging. That's a great analogy. You're absolutely right. It happened recently against the Padres where they hit Shohei. It was
Yeah.
clearly retaliation. And of being the Japanese culture, I was a little
Yeah,
disappointed in him.
he
He,
told
was
him-
like, no, don't throw back at him. And I was like, screw that. You better put one in Machado's neck. What
Did
you talking
Lasorda
about?
get fired up the way he did?
Yeah,
So-
just to send the message, don't throw at our $700 million man. That's a lot of money
Well,
to
that's my
Guggenheim's.
other comment on sports.
Yes.
Because I fell in love with Milwaukee at the Republican convention because it's so sad. You know, the beer industry and all that, it's just nothing now. And it's like, so they didn't even have enough cops to have local cops at the convention. They came in from Texas. And other
Really?
I asked for directions. And we don't live here. But anyway, my point is, I think the ad money, media money that everybody makes should be pooled and divided among the teams.
Oh, you've gone crazy.
No, otherwise, LA, which can, they got 8 trillion people their potential audience is. they're going to always be paying guys. What do they pay him?
$700 million over a 10-year period.
Okay, that's insane. That's so nobody needs that much money, and so.
But he's worth every nickel.
Well,
the Dodgers are the first team in history this year to have 4 million people come into Dodger Stadium. Nobody's ever done that in the history of Major League Baseball. He makes money for the entire league. When he goes, if you're in Milwaukee and they're averaging 20,000 people a night, when Shohei comes to town, it's sold out. You can count on it. He is making the league tons of money. He is worth every single nickel. And if you look at the breakdown, I was giving the Philadelphia Phillies fan in their crap because the reality is their payroll is $60 million less than ours. In baseball money, that's chump change. The Mets, who paid Soto $720 million, have a payroll that's second to ours, and they couldn't even get in the playoffs. So it's not only just the money. You're right, it's crazy money. I'm not trying to defend the money these guys are spending, but the Dodgers are much, much more than that. We've got the best minor league system. We've got the best scouts. We were the first ones to bring in Latin players, and that's why Tommy Lasorda, because we just have a better organization. Al Campanis, who was famous for making a racist comment on national television, was the guy that insisted that all the scouts and all the management spoke Spanish so we could go down to the DR and Nicaragua and Cuba and steal those guys. That's how we got Fernando. And back when we were kids, there were not a lot of Latin players. Roberto Clemente was the Latin representation in MLB. And then the Dodgers started bringing in Latin players, beginning with Fernando. And then everybody was going to Mexico.
That was so big when Fernando.
And exactly. And then the next transition was Nomo and what was the guy, Chan or whatever. We started going and getting Asian players. And now everybody's doing that. We're just a better organization, Kathy. Sorry. I'd tell you that.
Well, you're trying to tell me Milwaukee's payroll is only $60 million.
No. Phillies.
No,
Phillies. No, you're right. You're paying. There's a big discrepancy between
To
us
be
and
fair
Milwaukee.
as well, though, to the Dodgers,
Well,
every team
anyway, I
can
was
pay the
rooting for
same
them,
amount
but
of money in baseball.
That didn't happen. So now I'm rooting for Toronto. I don't want Seattle to win.
Ooh, no, we don't want to see Toronto.
Why not?
Because they could beat us.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm scared
Okay,
of
no
Toronto.
wonder I
I'm
like
scared
them.
of Toronto. I want Seattle. It's tonight. It started. Didn't it just start?
5.
Oh, at 5?
At 5.
Yeah, I think it's at 5.
Game 7. And did you know this, Chris? This is crazy. And we talked about this before I went to DC. That baseball is the least, home field advantage is the least important in baseball. Very important in basketball, very important in football. But in baseball, it's the least important.
Agreed.
Do you know in the last 8 game 7s, in other words, the last 8 games that go the whole distance, the road team has won 7 out of 8 times.
Road team. Is that what
The
you
road
said?
team, the travel team,
road.
the away
Okay,
team.
Yeah.
Playing in another guy's. So in other words, according to the statistics, Seattle is going to win tonight.
On the way the playoffs have gone, that's probably going to continue.
I mean, look at the Dodgers. We won 2 in Philly. We won 2
Are
in
they in
Milwaukee.
Seattle or
So did-
Toronto tonight?
It's in Toronto.
Toronto
Oh, you're
also
saying
won.
they're going to win. Okay.
Yeah.
Toronto and
I
Seattle
got it
also
down.
flopped on
Yeah.
both away games.
The
well,
what?
Toronto lost. I'm sorry, Toronto lost at home and Seattle lost at home. So it's likely that both of these happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just not that important.
Yeah.
Home field advantage.
Well-
Not in baseball. If you
Well,
got
we'll
good
see.
pitching travels well. Let's just put it that way. You got good pitching.
And then just need one guy like Otani. Whoa,
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, he just keeps doing it. But
Hit it out of the stadium, Kathy. He hit it out of the stadium.
I watched that stuff. It was
It's crazy.
really
Crazy,
all
crazy,
those
crazy.
hits were just amazing because some of those stadiums seem bigger to me than Dodger. I don't know if there's a rule on those. But
No, you can make it any way you want. Some parks are
so,
deeper than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But
So what do you got?
Well, of course, everyone's Prop 50. We got 2 weeks left on that, and those that understand the issue, and I don't blame most people to not understand the issue, but it's a battle of Newsom and the Democrats in Sacramento and the Capitol decided that if we can help win back the House by taking 5 seats away from the Republicans who have 9 out of 52, and there's a reason why they only have 9. I could tell you, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's why we're advocating no vote because it's bad enough this current commission that withdraws our districts in California, just so people understand, it's no more fair than what the governor did because they are there's the law that they passed that the voters fell for. The criteria is so weak that you can't go to court and say, hey, they gerrymandered this, because one of the criteria is shared transportation systems. Well, we live on 99. Somebody in Chico lives on 99. So they can draw it whatever way they want. You can't go to court and say, hey, this is just too much. And then, well, you share a 99. Another one is job opportunities, same job opportunities. Well, every town has a doctor and a cop. So, that's silly. They're not criteria. What the criteria I believe in is honor city and county borders. The less you break them, the more fair the plan. Bakersfield Country Club's in 2 congressional seats. Santa Monica's in 3. It's all the game playing. And that's from the commission, let alone what Newsom just did. So anyway.
Is there any chance of staving this thing off?
I don't know. I don't feel great about California because state employees, local employees, federal employees that live in California, they're all upset with Trump. What gets me is Nestle's, and we have Nestle's here. Nestle's, I read this in the business section of the Wall Street Journal. They're going to go in and they're going to cut employees that aren't needed, and they're going to tighten their belt, and they're going to do the blah, 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 blah. And they get praised for that. But if the government says we're going to go in and we're going to look for where we have waste and where we don't need employees, everybody says, oh, that's horrible. You can't fire them. And we praise them in the private sector for tightening up their belt so that they can be a successful business. But government, no, open your belt. So it's really too bad. But I think all those federal employees who have uncles and aunts and brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, they're telling all of them to vote yes. But I hope people realize that to think that Trump got 40% of the vote in California, and a man running for controller as a Republican with no name got 45% of the vote, no money, no name in California. But the districts that are drawn, congressional seats out of 52, we have 17%. We're getting 45% of the statewide vote.
Right.
Harvey and Trump are getting 40%. But we're only, why? Because the lines were drawn to be difficult to put enough Republicans in a seat. They just sprinkled them around. So anyway.
I know this is as old as the ages. I think it goes back to the 19th century, gerrymandering.
Yeah,
Isn't that
Jerry,
where it was born?
from Massachusetts.
Mhm.
That's where Eldridge Gerry was his name, Gerry. And that's where the term came from. Yeah.
How's that survived? Why don't we kill this thing?
Well, that's why, because I'm saying with ChatGPT, with AI, you can just do this by computer, put in the census tracts, cut 52 equal congressional seats in California, and break city and county lines the least. And that, you can't argue with those. I'll send it to Shirley Weber, our Secretary of State. She can't fight with it once it shows you how few breaks. And then you run. Kern County, we've even got a congressman in California City from another county because they put California City in another congressional district. And yet Kern County doesn't have more people than a congressional district, so it should have been one. But so anyway, I don't know. We can end it, I hope, with 800,000 signatures and $2.5 million. I can get it qualified, and that's my goal for next November. But on the same vein, the census, you hear about, is Trump going to do a census? I don't think that will work. But the census, and I noticed this when all the years when Kevin was running, I was always watching on top of the vote. The census is so inflated with non-people, or at least non-citizens.
Right, undocumented.
That when Kevin McCarthy runs, between him and his Democrat opponent, they get about 240,000 votes in the general, 240,000. When Maxine Waters runs in LA, she and her opponent get half that, 123,000. So why is that? Because there aren't people there to warrant a congressional seat. And if they are illegals counted in the census, is it not okay to count them as part of the census, but recognize if they're not citizens, should they be counted towards the strength of a congressional seat? I'm okay with it either way, but certainly there's something wrong with the way we're counting.
Yeah.
And I remember in the old days, I'd get a letter from the census saying, fill this out. And if I didn't do it, you got another letter saying, hey, we don't have it. And you had to do it. Now, Dolores Huerta and her minions get paid. And they stand outside an apartment building and it's, 10 stories, 30 apartments, multiply 300 plus spouse plus kids. And you can just say that.
Yeah.
That has to stop.
Yeah.
So those are things that, people come to me a lot right now saying, oh, they're cheating on the election. It's not. I'm not concerned about the workers in the county elections department.
Yeah, that's insane.
No, I have a problem with the machines. I have a problem with that the system is so sloppy. And then I don't know if I've told this before, but my mother passed away in Riverside County, so I forwarded her bills to my house. 2 months later, she gets a letter, she, not me, from Kern County Elections. We see you've moved to Kern County. You will be registered to vote unless you tell us no. Well, I didn't answer it. I'm not her. I've been getting ballots for her every election.
Have you been voting for her?
No, I've got them stacked on my desk here. I'm waiting to see why.
Come on, Kathy. When they go low, we go lower.
Right.
You should be filling that thing out.
I'm waiting to see if they're ever going to do anything because there's so many people have been on the rolls. I have gotten people bring it into our headquarters and they say this man died 10 years ago. He doesn't live here. I Google his obituary. I wrap it around his ballot. I go down to the elections. I said, here's the obituary. Here's the ballot. He's dead. And they say, just put it in that slot there. I said, well, no, that's where we put the ballots that are being voted. No, just put it in there. I don't know. I don't know what happens to it. But it's those kind of things like mail forwarding should not turn into automatic register because that's what got me. It said, if you don't respond, you will be registered here. Wow. I thought that's pretty gutsy, but maybe they get money based on how many registrations. So that's my political shot at what's going on. Some of my political shot about what's going on.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
We've got some interesting elections coming up that are getting more and more interesting.
Oh, nationwide?
Nationwide. I just got hip to, and I'm sure you're aware of what's going on in Maine with this guy. Please stand by. Platner. He is the Democratic candidate who, much like the guy in Virginia, they found some Reddit text messages where he bagged on the cops, claimed he was a communist, said that that white people are racist because he was arguing with somebody and the guy said, well, you know, white people aren't all racist. And he was like, oh, yes, they are. I live in a suburban white thing. Just things that are damaging. And just like the AG guy in Virginia who has said some horrible things about killing the speaker and that his children should die in his wife's arms so they could understand empathy and that might change their policy. They're circling the wagons around these guys. Instead of saying that disqualifies you, they're saying, well, it's abhorrent and we hate it, but we're still supporting him.
Right. Well, in the Virginia Attorney General candidate, the Democrats are saying, well, the Republicans had that text for a couple of years and they just brought it out.
Yeah. So what? Exactly.
But it is a reason why this early voting is ridiculous. Because particularly in these smaller races, council and school boards, where it takes you a while to raise the money, you don't file till August, you run in November. There's not time to educate the voter on what you are compared to what your opponent may be. So yeah, they start voting September 10
in Virginia,
and there's about 18 states that do that.
Yeah,
that start early.
Nuts.
And tax day is April 15. We don't say it's 100 and some odd days. So that needs to be changed. That is designed to protect incumbents. And that's who voted for it. That's why it's law.
Yeah,
incumbents benefit.
Although the thing in Virginia has flipped. He's starting the fall, and it's also flipped the gubernatorial race.
I hope it helps Winsome Sears.
Absolutely.
I don't know the AG candidate on our side, but I sure hope she can get it because she and Youngkin were making some real changes in that state and long overdue. And so Mandani, I mean, you got to figure he's measuring the drapes, right?
It looks inevitable.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing for Republicans. I really do. Let him watch him ruin New York City.
Right.
And let he and AOC be the face of the Democratic Party. That's fine with me. Absolutely fine with me. And more Katie Porter video keeps popping up.
There's more?
There's more.
Oh, I haven't
There's
seen
more.
that.
And it's stuff that she was on Bill Maher and chastised Riley Gaines.
Oh,
and Pierce Morgan was the second guest. And she was like, she's just doing it for likes and clicks on. And Pierce Morgan was like, no, she's doing it because she went up against Leah Thompson and Leah Thompson beat her by 50 seconds. And he said, it's a man swimming with women and they just can't keep up. And she's like, well, she's just speaking for herself. And Pierce Morgan was like, I'm pretty sure she's speaking for all women who engage in sports. She is horrendous.
Yeah, I know what the Democrats are going to do for California. Although I didn't see her as the great white hope, whatever you want to say, as a potential winning candidate.
So we haven't talked about this, and we're almost out of time, unfortunately. You know what I heard?
What?
Alex Padilla.
Yeah, Mr. Let me into that press conference.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Big Shot.
I
Mr.
forgot
Big
about
Shot.
that. Oh, they're hurting me. They're hurting me. I
He's
forgot
got a
about that.
The Secretary of Homeland Security, right? Is that what you know him is? He just busts into a press conference. I mean, even some lower member of the media can't bust into it. If you're not invited, you're not invited.
And they took him down to the ground.
And he
as
loved
they
it.
should have.
And
And yeah, he looked like LeBron.
Right.
Looked like LeBron James. Oh my God.
I think he's like 6'3" or 4.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's just crumpled.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh.
We'll talk about it more
Okay,
next
all
week.
right.
Always good to
Okay.
see you, Kathy.
Thank
Thank you. Kathy Abernathy, everybody. Is she here?
News Talk 96.1.
Yeah, Katie
and
Porter's just a disaster.
KERN.
Network. Not a nice person. And when you're not a nice person,
With us on the
that's who
news,
you are.
I'm Keith
little things
Peters
like that are
in
gonna continue to
Washington.
pop
President
up.
Trump says it's possible that Ukraine can defeat Russia, but he's doubtful that it will happen. The latest comments from Trump add a fresh layer of skepticism towards Kiev
I don't know. I hate it.
as he plans to meet again with
Can't
Russian
stand
President
it. All right,
Vladimir
thanks,
Putin
Kathy.
to discuss ending the
Mars not
war. Trump on Monday said Ukrainians could still win it, added, I don't think they will. Police have arrested a man accused of threatening to open fire at the world's busiest airport in Atlanta and say an assault rifle was found in his car. Police said at a news conference Monday that 49-year-old Billy Joe Cagle of Cartersville, Georgia, had described his plan during a social media live stream. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 515 points, the Nasdaq rose 310. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1.
Hey, Siri.
and AM 1180. KERN.
Call Lauren Skidmore.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. An 18-year-old man from Delano faces charges of manslaughter following a deadly
calling
crash
Lauren.
in Tulare County. The teen was driving without a license and
answer.
crashed head-on into a vehicle, killing a 52-year-old woman, also from Delano. CHP says it happened at around 1:45 Sunday afternoon. They say the teen's vehicle drifted into the oncoming lane, crashing into the other car. Free childhood immunizations will be provided by Adventist Health Bakersfield for the rest of the month at different locations. Clinics are open to children under 18 who are uninsured, enrolled in Medi-Cal or American Indian or Native Alaskan descent. Priority is given to them and their siblings. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, do people often think dental implants are a one-size-fits-all solution? Can you explain what dental implants are and how they benefit patients?
Yes, dental implants are a permanent solution for missing teeth. They act like natural tooth roots and support crown, bridges, or dentures. Unlike traditional dentures, implants provide a secure fit, look
How much time we
natural,
got?
and allow
Oh, here
patients
she
to
is.
eat, speak, and smile confidently without worrying about slipping.
Well, you know, many people are
Yeah,
concerned
okay.
about the pain involved with dental procedures.
Some people have a more complex situation or have what we call dental phobia.
Yeah.
If so, we offer IV sedation that allows patients
And
to
I just
relax
texted her too, like, is she
completely
coming in?
during
Are
the
we
dental
calling her?
procedure, making it a stress-free experience.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, Dr. Nozar Tarkesh, who specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit him online at affordabledentures.com
Yeah, I
or
just
call
texted her.
831-7230 to schedule your appointment today.
Go ahead and smile.
On the next Armstrong
That's okay.
and Getty show,
It's
really
Eileen Parr,
fascinating observations on America becoming over feminized. Takes men, takes women, of course, in balance. We are way out of balance.
And we'll update you on the shutdown.
So it is Domestic Awareness Month.
Any
correct?
actual news
It's
of the day, we'll have that for
purple.
you on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN. The Armstrong and Getty Show. Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
842-5376, 842-KERN. We're going wall to wall. Tom Petty to free falling. Because he was born on this day. I can't remember. He was 66 when he passed away by an accidental overdose. He had a bad hip, and they had him on codeine and a bunch of stuff, and he accidentally took too much because he had another fall, from what I understand. We'll talk about the life and times of Tom Petty later on in the broadcast. But in the meantime, I hope many of you know, it is Domestic Awareness Month, and we're joined by Eileen Para with the Open Door Network. They have an event going on tomorrow at Compassion Corner. She joins us live in studio. Eileen, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
First, tell us what's going on tomorrow.
So tomorrow we are having a light up vigil in honor of survivors of domestic violence. We're honoring victims that are still in this cycle of violence and just doing something for the community to help us promote awareness, to help us reduce domestic violence occurring in our community.
Yeah, and I often do this with Lauren. We have to go back and assume that not everyone is aware of the Open Door Network, and we have new members of our community. Tell them what the Open Door Network does and what they're all about, what you're all about.
So the Open Door Network is a local nonprofit here in Kern County. We provide services to victims and survivors of domestic violence, intimate partner violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, child abuse, and we are the only family homeless shelter in Kern County, sheltering our families.
And you guys used to be the Alliance Against, let me get it right, Alliance Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault.
Almost.
Almost?
We used to be the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault and the Bakersfield Homeless Center. So in 2022, we merged under one name. So we've always worked under the same umbrella, just under two different names. And in 2022, we made that happen and merged under the Open Door Network.
Yeah. Where are we with domestic violence? Getting better, the same, worse?
So numbers will show that it's decreasing. But me personally, I strongly believe, just from being boots on the ground in this work, domestic violence, when there's intimate partner violence occurring in a relationship, those are things we don't talk about. So I don't know if numbers showing a slight decrease is because there's not much discussion going around. But when we look at domestic violence, intimate partner violence, we look at it like a silent crime because not every victim provides a police report. And just because there's no police report to make the number doesn't mean that it's decreasing in our community, because at the Open Door Network, you don't need a police report to receive services. And so those walk-ins are increasing every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't believe that we are in a place where it's getting better, especially with just recent homicides that have been occurring within the last few years of domestic violence. I think this last week, I've seen a number of just domestic violence incidents didn't lead to homicide, but that puts individuals at risk just even reaching the media.
Yeah. I know it is important to get a restraining order, but how effective are restraining orders? Because let me just say personally, I don't believe they're very effective, but it's important that they do that so there is a history and a record in case he does get arrested inevitably.
Restraining orders can be effective.
Yeah.
There are different types of restraining orders that are provided to victims of assault or abuse. It's not the restraining order that is not effective. It's how severe the domestic violence case has been. So there is a statistic that I always share that those who are fleeing the relationship and then they go and they seek safety, something like a restraining order, it can increase their situation up to 80% of homicide. And that's not because of the actual restraining order. That's from the underlying abuse of what it escalated to. And so in some cases, a domestic violence restraining order is not the answer and is going to solve and alleviate and remove domestic violence. And in that case, we always want to leave that up to the victim, because victims who are facing this, they know their abuser. They know how to walk around it. And I think in our community, we shouldn't pressure it thinking that's the first instinct that's going to make someone safe.
Yeah.
So it can be effective. Some people obey laws and they are afraid of violating something that's going to put them in jail or give them a background. But then there are abusers who it's just a piece of paper.
See, that's why I don't think it's effective, because I think if you're so far gone that you're willing to put your hands on someone who you are clearly dominant over and that you allegedly love, no piece of paper is going to stop you from knocking her around again, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't want to discourage women from not filing a restraining order. You absolutely should. The thing that amazes me is, and this is just your opinion, I don't know if this is based on studies or whatever, but do these women know who these men are, and they just get in these relationships and think, hopefully I can change them? You made allusions to the number of recent homicides, and the one that sticks out in my mind is the husband who barged in on his son's birthday party and slit her throat right in the home. Do they understand who these guys are, that they're violent, and they discover this, or they know who they are going into the relationship and they think they can change them?
So I think it's more, well, the things that we've experienced is not all the time you know what you're walking into. And when you're walking into these relationships, when you meet someone, their first sign of behavior is not going to be the obvious and is going to be physically abusive. So in a sense, it's walking in blindsided. You don't know, if you don't understand what a healthy relationship looks like, you're going to think that anyone who charms you and, makes you feel a certain way of love is what love is. And then behind this, so entering a relationship, you have the charmer who has everyone believing that no matter what they do, they're so good to you that how could they do that to somebody else?
O.J. Simpson,
So
the poster child.
yeah, and we call that the charmer. And the charmer comes off as the person who also carries power and control. They have a very good reputation in the community. And so as they're walking into this, it starts to escalate with minor things like isolation, keeping you away from family, right? Because that's something physical that someone can cause harm to. And then it slowly tends to escalate to tension, where it's the walking on eggshells. And then it escalates to the explosion phase of the physical abuse, the name calling, the belittling, everything. And then it goes back to that cycle again of the honeymoon phase, getting the victim to believe, where they're instilling that hope that I'm going to change, I'm going to do better. Please don't tell anybody, you can ruin my reputation. And so in that sense, naturally, just generally speaking on women, we are more prone to wanting to fix. And then it leads to that, okay, I believe you, there's that hope. This is not the person that I know you to be. And then it goes back again in that cycle. So as your partner, I always tell people, it's not all the time that you see the bad every day. It's not like every day you walk in and it's bad.
Right.
There are days where they're great and good and you have that loving relationship, and then it can flip a switch and then it escalates back to the other side.
Yeah.
And so it's not that they don't know what they're walking into. I think it is a blindsided when you're walking into it, because you want what we imagine and what we see. And then then as the years progress, it goes on. But what the important thing is recognizing those red flags in the beginning of the isolation, or just little signs of you. Maybe you made plans to hang out with friends or family, and then they go and make plans on the same day saying like, well, I'd rather you hang out with me. So not respecting time. Then it goes into communication and how we're defining that in our relationship to be healthy.
Yeah. Eileen Parra is our guest. She's with the Open Door Network. By the way, we're televising this on YouTube.
Oh.
That's why I keep looking that way. I'm not being rude. That's we're also televising.
No, you're good.
They have a candlelight vigil going on at Compassion Corner tomorrow. It starts at 5:30. Is that
Yes,
right?
it starts at 5:30.
Yeah. You mentioned that you're having more walk-ins. Obviously, that's not good. But on a certain level, is that good? Does that mean that more women are reporting it as opposed to just staying at home and saying it's going to get better?
So that's where I was thinking about this recently. To me, seeing an increase in walk-ins just tells us that we're doing a little bit better at promoting the awareness, and people are hearing these resources that are out there for them. It's just like when we talk to law enforcement, these calls can be so repetitive when officers are responding, and at times victims are not ready to do anything. And so in one presentation that I did, I had mentioned the fact that they're still calling you tells you you're doing a good job because they feel safe to keep calling.
Right.
It's when they're not calling anymore that we need to reevaluate and see what's going on.
Yeah. How did you get involved in this? How long have you been involved with it?
So I've been working for the Open Door Network, what was the Alliance Against Family Violence. January will be 13 years.
Wow.
So I've done boots on the ground work. I've worked at our family justice centers, stationed at our Department of Human Services. I worked closely with law enforcement in their domestic abuse response team, doing restraining orders. So throughout the years, I've gradually just promoted. I went into our shelter services and was a manager for a period of time there. And then over the last, I think it's been 3 years, almost 4 as a director. So doing director of programs, really focusing on how we're providing and delivering that service to not only just victims, but to the community, and how the Open Door can be the experts to start training those in our community of how to respond to these calls.
Yeah. Such a better name than the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault.
Yeah.
Such a better name. Totally forgot what I was going to ask you. Tell us more about the Candlelight Vigil and how folks can participate.
So the Candlelight Vigil stem from, again, doing boots on the ground work. A light for every story is meant to highlight one priority is victims and survivors. But we also don't want to forget those who have their hands in this work, who come to work every day, fighting to reduce something in our community. And not only that, these stories that we've all encountered, whether you're an advocate, law enforcement therapist, working in a shelter, they're just stories you don't forget. And so A Light for Every Story highlights the impact of what domestic violence does, not only to a victim and survivor, but to their family, their friends. And when we do have instances in our community of homicide, it affects all of us. It's heartbreaking, and it makes us sit and wonder, like, what could we do to make this different? Because it didn't just you don't wake up one day and decide, I want to do this. That violence has escalated throughout the time.
Yeah. How are we handling it judiciously? In other words, are we sentencing these guys? Are we doing a good job in punishing these guys once we establish that they are domestic violence abusers, or no?
I think we need, and this is my own opinion, we can do better.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I'll leave with this, a dumb question that I think I have the answers to, but I have to ask it nevertheless. Why do they stay?
Could be for a number of reasons. Like I said, when you're talking about those who have experienced or are experiencing intimate partner violence, you stay for your family. You could have been someone who grew up in a single parent home, and all your life you told yourself, when I grow up, I want my kids to be raised in a 2-parent home. And so it's that hope of that's something that you can bring and you can fix and make happen. It could be fear. So you were just talking about restraining orders and how they're not effective. So if that piece of paper can't protect you, and I know if I leave, that's my life. I know how to live through this relationship and walk on eggshells and get through the tension and explosion phase. It could be, I've seen cases where the abuser gets the children to turn on the other parent, and the manipulation, the gaslighting. And obviously, I mean, I'm a mother myself. It's like, what would we do in those instances? Do we just stick it out and make it work for our kids? And
if you're dependent on him for making the money, and you may not have family in town, how do you get out? How do you move? How do you get into an apartment or a house?
Yeah. And that's the scary part of the things that we talk about. Those are all the unknowns. But if there's one message that I send is, yes, that journey is not going to be easy. But there are resources for you. They don't happen overnight. They won't happen probably in a month. But what we do have is an emergency shelter you can come and stay at, which we offer transitional housing. That's a 2-year program. We have rapid rehousing services where we can house individuals and pay monthly rent for a period of time. We have therapy programs. So that way, when you're ready to receive that and begin your healing journey, that's all available to you.
And you can reach, if you're in trouble, you can reach Eileen and Lauren and everyone at the Open Door Network at
661-327-1091. That is our crisis hotline number. That hotline operates 24/7. So if someone's in a situation and it's 2 a.m. and they need to get out, they need shelter, and they have no transportation, they have just the clothes on their back, they can call that number. We can arrange the transportation, bring them in, and get them a hot meal. They'll have the bed to sleep on. They will have clothing, whatever it is that they need. All those things we can fix later.
Facilities for children as well.
Yes, and we don't discriminate. So men and women, everyone just has to go through a background screening for the safety of others.
Say the number again.
661-327-1091.
We will pump that up. I lied. I'm going to leave you with this. Do we know who these men are? You know what I mean? Like, we know that mass shooters are roughly 18 to 30-year-old disaffected men. We know that. Do we know who domestic violent men are? Is there a stereotype, a poster child?
Oh no, domestic violence, an abuser can be anyone. It could be, again, an abuser is someone who has power and control. And so it could be a teacher in the school. It could be, God forgive me, but it could be a pastor. It could be someone who has a high authority position where the community, again, can think, oh, well, how could that person ever cause that harm to someone? I don't ever see them doing that. So no, just like it doesn't discriminate to what a victim looks like, an abuser doesn't discriminate either. So it's someone who wants the power and control over people.
Once again, tell them what's going on tomorrow. What time? Out of Compassion Corner.
Tomorrow on Compassion Corner, it is our light up vigil honoring survivors, remembering victims that we've lost, trying to just target those victims that there is hope in their journey. And then just shining a light on our community. You can come out, you can bring photos if you have someone that's near and dear to your heart that you want to remember and honor. If you want to do an honorary board that just supports survivors and victims to know that they're not alone and there's support here in their community. So it'll be from 5:30 to 6:30. We do have survivors that will be speaking. We do have closing with like just a prayer and inviting just the community. So we'll have about 10 booths out there.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be offering all these resources for our community to learn from.
Tomorrow at 5:30. Eileen Parr, everybody. Thank you so much. Say hello to Lauren Smoot Skidmore.
I will.
I said that because I ran into her dad and I was with somebody else and they told me, that's Lauren's dad. And I was like, Steve Smoot? I've known him for decades. I didn't know that was her dad.
I just met him a few years ago.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
And a pretty cool daughter. Yeah. Nice meeting you. Thanks for coming in.
Too. Thank you for having me.
Have fun tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good, and thank you for the work that you do. Really, you guys are amazing. It
Thank
really
you.
is. Quick time out. We're coming right back. I've got a story out of Illinois. Speaking of abuse, police officer's trial for murdering a woman in her kitchen starts today. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at KernRadio.com. Sweet. That was great. Thank you so much.
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So check back clip Andre Gonzalez was asking, why are we upset that Dolores Huerta gets the money when we weren't upset that any other business gets the money?
And we'll definitely have you back,
Dolores
too.
Huerta is the only business in town that has gone out and actively campaigned for Prop 50 or any other political thing. That's why we're upset about it. You can't give money from a city to a political organization disguised as a nonprofit.
The JR Show.
All right, thanks again.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
You guys know that I'm not a really big fan of Halloween, but can we at
So what
least
time does Seattle
admit
start?
that at the end of the night, it's really
started?
about a risque evening of ladies wearing kitty
I don't
cats
think
and police
I can't
uniforms
see
and
one.
the dirty nurse, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that team is picked up at Casey's Steakhouse because on October 31st, Cassie Biddle is throwing a 1,001
their
night
ace?
party, which is going to skip
it
the
Toronto's
costume
ace?
party and join them for dinner and a belly dancer
Scherzer?
show.
Oh,
It's going to
wow.
be a great night with a
The old
5-course
man.
meal, 2 craft cocktails, and photos with the belly dancers who'll be performing on F Street for 3 hours that night.
Did you see what
Tonight
he's
you may
hitting in
not
the
want to
postseason?
miss October 31st,
460.
obviously Halloween night, beginning at
462.
6:30 on F Street at KC Steakhouse. longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Little gout in the knee. Want to thank Eileen Parr for joining us. One of those people that I talk about. I don't know how they do it, man. Look at ugliness every day and deal with women who are, struggling through life and just seeking normalcy. You know what I mean? I mean, imagine just drama and I can't even imagine. I just can't even imagine. And that fear that inevitably this thing could end really, really badly, as so many of them have. And Eileen alluded to the rash of recent incidents that have ended incredibly violently. And of course, Mr. Simpson is the classic who beat the crap. And I've always said, I blame the Brown family in part for Nicole's death, because as we were talking, and she talked about the romance phase afterward, baby, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. Here are a dozen roses. Let's go to dinner. They make love and everything's back to normal. And then a month later, he gets drunk and knocks the crap out of her. And that was OJ's MO. OJ, if you look back, now we know all these things. Whenever they would have an incident, the most famous was the New Year's Eve incident, where he literally dragged Nicole down the steps by her hair. Can you imagine that? 6'2", 6'3", 230-pound, one of the greatest athletes to ever live, grab a woman by her hair, all $130, and dragging her down a flight of stairs by her hair. And that's the one that Furman was the cop on. They found Nicole in the bushes in pants and a bra, hiding from OJ. And Furman interviewed OJ, and OJ said, well, I had a little problem, boo, boo, boo. She looked like a raccoon, and OJ didn't go to jail. Didn't spend a day in jail. He is the poster child. And the reason I blame the Browns is because whenever there was an incident, and this happened, they went to Mazatlan like 2 weeks later, OJ would say, baby, let's go, get the family, get your sisters and your parents, and let's go to Mazatlan. Let's go to Bermuda, and everything would be okay. And the Browns would okay. And I've told you, my sister was and my family gets livid with me whenever I talk about this, but my sister was the victim of domestic violence. And I damn near went to jail. I got a couple of buddies of mine. I got an Adirondack bat. I banged on his door with the bat. I stole it from a movie. And he opened the door and I put the bat right in his face. And I said, if you ever, so I was with Marcus, the late Marcus. I forget Marcus's last name, but Marcus is 6'5", and I was with Chet, my buddy in Sacramento. I said, if you ever touch my sister again, stole that from Sonny Corleone, I swear to God my dad had passed away, but I said, I swear to God, I'll be back with these two guys, and I will go to jail because I will beat the crap out of you. Now, that's not what I'm suggesting one do, but the Browns should have interceded. They were well aware of what was going on with Nicole, and OJ would smooth it over with money and trips that he completely paid for. Everybody would go first class, and they loved OJ again. Don't make no sense. Just don't make no sense. Final hour of the broadcast. We'll talk about the situation in Springfield, Illinois. A policeman is on trial today for murder, aggravated assault, and other charges. We'll talk about that next. It's the Ralph Bailey Show.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at
Shit, I've only walked twice today. God damn it, I keep forgetting.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The government shutdown is having effects on preschool and Head Start programs around the country.
Head Start programs serve tens of thousands of the nation's neediest preschoolers and are facing a cutoff of federal funding at the end of the month because of the government shutdown. That would leave many of those programs scrambling to figure out how to keep their doors open. The Early Education Initiative is funded almost entirely by the federal government. That makes it particularly vulnerable to funding disruptions. Programs are run by schools, local governments, and nonprofits. They also usually receive new grants annually and aren't allowed to carry over unspent money. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
And the Senate once again this evening failed to pass a stopgap spending bill. It appears President Trump is helping to boost Republicans' overall popularity, Bob Agnew reports.
The latest Rasmussen Reports national telephone and online survey finds that 9 months into President Trump's second term, voters now have a slightly less favorable view of the Democratic Party than they do of the Republicans. 48% of likely U.S. voters have a favorable impression of the Republicans. Only 45% say the same thing about Democrats. Rasmussen knows that the Democrat favorability has taken a 2-point hit since July. Bob Agnew reporting.
President Trump says it's possible that Ukraine can defeat Russia, but he's doubtful that will happen. The latest comments from Trump add a fresh layer of skepticism towards Kyiv as he plans to meet again with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss ending the war. Trump on Monday said Ukrainians could still win it, but added, I don't think they will. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 515 points, the Nasdaq rose 310, the S&P advanced 71 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month. And I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something.
I think they let
Pure Talk.
From the KERN newsroom.
Well, the defensive coordinator's through. He's through. Yeah. But I think they like Dable. I think they like Dable, and they got something going.
I'm Bill Robbins.
They got
Deputies
something
are on the
going.
lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with a friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered
What
a
happened to
domestic
Saints game? I
violence
forget
call in the 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators
But that
say
was
the
Russell,
suspect
though,
fled
wasn't
in the
it?
car with his friend. He allegedly
That was-
fired
that was
several
Dart?
gunshots while driving away. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage
And then
Lane,
ran
but
him
the
off the field.
suspect was not found. The investigation is ongoing. Wasco police officers had to remove a man from a local Walmart after reports of his erratic behavior inside the store after it was learned that he was armed with a bow and arrow as well as a crossbow. Officers held Walmart staff to
And have you
evacuate
looked
the
at their
store. The
schedule?
suspect was taken into custody and booked into the
They
Laredo
may not
jail.
win.
The store later resumed normal
They really may
operations.
not.
Kaiser
'Cause there was like
Permanente
one week they
nurses
played
wrapped up their
Eagles,
5-day strike
then
on
Kansas
Sunday.
City,
According
and
to
then the Eagles.
organizers, bargaining will resume in the coming weeks. 31,000 Kaiser Permanente nurses and healthcare professionals across California and Hawaii participated in the strike. It began last Tuesday, October 14th, at over 500 Kaiser hospitals. Workers are determined to get safe staffing and
Whole list
fair
of teams that
contracts.
they just can't beat.
Residents of Kern County
Even
who
if he
depend
plays
on
well.
CalWorks and CalFresh benefits
But they
could
found their
have their
quarterback.
services
They
disrupted
found their
if the
running
federal
back.
government shutdown is still going on by November. The county has sufficient funding to maintain these programs through the end of this month,
And
but
Neighbors
future
didn't play.
impacts are uncertain after the start of the shutdown's
Is it
second
really?
week. Kern DHS states that if
Oh, that's
benefits are not available for November, that they will notify residents. Officials advise residents to keep submitting reporting
33 points in
requirements
a
to
quarter.
maintain their eligibility. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it
What was the
breaks
other
on
screw-up
News
that I
Talk
saw
96.1 and
The San
AM
Francisco
1180
game,
KERN.
where Raheem should have kicked the field goal. It was 52 yards. That's a cheap shot
You gotta
today.
get up close like this. But up there, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you keep that house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday, 20th day of October. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com. We've been talking about a lot of things today. We led the show off with some sad news via honor flight. We lost another one of our World War II veterans, Billy Burke, a gentleman who fortunately I got to meet on Honor Flight 51 last April. And we talked to Chris Orr, who is regular listeners know Chris. He calls in a lot. He's the lacrosse guy. And he was a guardian. He met Mr. Burke due to the work that he does. He works with older, elderly folks in his profession, and was one of the people that suggested that Mr. Burke go on this trip. And I talked to some folks with Honor Flight today, and they were saying that's the blessing, that he did at least get to go back and be honored and experience what the guys in Honor Flight 52 just went through last week, where, there's so many high points to Honor Flight. There is the memorials, obviously, the trip itself. Then there are the letters that they receive from children and others coming home. And then the huge surprise, and I think you heard it in many of the interviews that we did with the guys when we got back, is they're not expecting to see anybody at the airport but their family. And they get off the plane and they think they're just going to take some pictures. They take pictures in the back of the airport and they think that's it. We're going to walk out and get in the car and go home. And you all are there in massive numbers, particularly this last one last week, Wednesday night. I had to get off first because we had a gentleman who fell ill on the plane. And I mentioned that to end any fears about your grandfather or your father going, in case what happens if grandpa gets ill. Deanna Salyards is one of the medics. Scott, I always forget Scott's last name. He's a local firefighter who goes, and they handled it well. And I got another good news. I'm glad I stumbled into this because Lily told me this morning. The gentleman that did have an illness is home safe and is doing well. So we're really happy about that. But Mr. Burke was an exceptional man. And just go on Facebook. If you're a friend of mine or whatever, go to my Facebook or Instagram. I talked about him and chronicled his bio when he served, and from 42 to 46. and where he was stationed and what he did. And like I said, I had to, Chris Orr was his guardian, and Chris wanted to either go in the souvenir room or wanted to actually, because Fort McHenry is a gargantuan fort, which is where Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner. Not at Fort McHenry, but it was an attack by the British on Baltimore and Fort McHenry. And Francis Scott Key was trying to negotiate a friend who'd been captured by the British, and he was trying to negotiate him off. But the plan to attack Baltimore was already in place, and they didn't want to kill Francis Scott Key, so they held him captive during the attack, which was supposed to be routine. I mean, it was supposed to be Kansas City versus the Raiders. It was supposed to be 31-0 with Mahomes in the third quarter sitting down with a baseball cap. And in fact, unlike the Raiders, the Americans in Baltimore stepped up and shocked the world and beat back the British and defended Fort McHenry. And Key was aboard a British ship. That's why he had this firsthand vision and knowledge of this attack where the bombs were bursting in air, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a great story. And so Chris wanted to go, and see the fort, but Billy didn't want to, and it's because you've got to wheel him out, and it's a gargantuan fort. So he asked me and a friend of mine, Aaron, to look after Billy, and we got to spend about 10 minutes with him at Fort McHenry, and we were wheeling him around. There were a group of like 8 or 9-year-olds in the fort, because there's a portion of the fort where you come in and there's a souvenir store, and then there's a movie theater where they show you a motion picture, a little 3-minute documentary on Fort McHenry and the story that I just told you about how Francis Scott Key, and we watched the movie, and the kids were in there, and then we were tooling Billy around, and he basically held court with these 8-year-olds. And I had some fun because I knew, at 8, you have no concept of age. And I said, children, how old do you think this gentleman is? They're like 70, 75, 80, 85. And I said, Billy? And he said, I am 100 years old. And I'm telling you, Chris, just the faces of these kids. I mean, that's the first and probably only 100-year-old they may ever meet. And their eyes every single one of them, they just went, for the YouTube listeners, they just went. They were just like stunned that this man is 100 years old. And I tried to, because at 8 or 9, you shouldn't know anything about World War II. You really shouldn't, unless you're off the chart like Ralph Bailey. I know about that, but I'm kidding. But I said, you're going to learn about World War II. And when you do, I hope you remember this man, because he is a World War II survivor. And I hope you keep this in your minds. But, you're talking to 8 or 9-year-olds. I don't know if that took or not, but I don't know why we're sad. The man lived to be 100. He lived a great life. You talk about truly we should be celebrating, but it is sad to lose this guy. Just a month short of his 101st birthday. But he was just a gentleman, just a really fine, decent man. 842-5376, 842-KER. I don't have time to get into the Sean Grayson story. So what do you got on the board?
Oh,
what are you giggling at? What are you giggling at?
Ralph, you do realize you don't have to have you do realize that you don't, that your body doesn't know the difference between a woman and your right hand. Stimulation is stimulation. Go home tonight and work on your immune system with a smile.
Every night.
Good Lord.
And twice on Sunday. No, that's not what Jeet said. That's why I asked him. And I went you see how I went all over Arvin and Lamont, just not to use the M word? I just went all around. I was up in Pine Mountain Club. Took a circuitous route not to use the M word.
Yeah.
I don't know why. We're all adults here.
It's definitely not the stimulation that's the good thing about it.
Yeah.
It's the heart rate increase.
The self-esteem.
Yes, that.
There's no self-esteem being by yourself.
Human-to-human contact is also very good for.
It's gargantuan. It's gargantuan. I was just talking about this weekend with a friend, and literally sleeping with someone is the best.
Sleeping next to somebody.
Yes, actually sleeping and just the whole. And I'm sorry, I'm a spooner. I'm an absolute spooner. And then there's that portion where then, okay, now it's 2, 3 in the morning. You go to your side, I go to my side. You know,
It gets a little hot.
Exactly. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
Gotta breathe too. And,
Yeah, exactly.
your hair is.
But that first half hour that you fall asleep,
the best.
And you just, oh God, and you got your face all in her hair, and she smells so good. You can smell the shampoo and ain't nothing like it. If you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, and you think we're just talking about our sex life, we had Dr. Jeet Singh on at 3:30, and I found this thing on Facebook that said that having sex twice a week improves your immune system, lowers your blood pressure, heightens your self-esteem. What were the other ones? Do I have to go back and find this thing? Lumpy sent me something. I'll read that in a second, Lump. Let me go back to this. Hang on just a second. Okay. The benefits of having sex twice a week. You have a better immune system. Number 2, it lowers your blood pressure. That's why my blood pressure was so high a couple years ago. It lowers the risk of prostate cancer, which is why I'm in trouble, and improves self-esteem. That's the one that kills me. And immediate natural pain relief. That's why I've had gout for the last 3 months. And I didn't read the last one. Better sleep and better heart health. Twice a week. I would love to know what is for the average couple. What is the average amount of sex one has?
It has to vary. I mean, because there's some people you hear them do it frequently, and some don't get it at all. And
well, that's the old joke. You know, you have sex until you get married, and once she's got you, then she's like, "No, get away from me." I've heard people that claim twice a day, every day. I'm like,
y'all haven't done that since you were 19.
All right. I mean, when I was in, it just depends though. See, it depends on where you are in life. Like when I was young and wasn't quite as busy, and it just depends. Like I lived with just one girlfriend. I'm not going to name her, Roxana Ray. And that was pretty frequent because we lived together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had my apartment, but I was at her place 6-7 days a week. I mean, I was there. We lived together for we dated for about 4 years, and we lived together about a year. But if you don't live together and you're both kind of busy, and now at my age, or even in your 40s and your 50s, you're dating somebody with children, which becomes a factor in how often you can go at it. And it's just like Chris, 31, he doesn't have any kids, and probably the women that he's dating don't have any kids. So if you get in a relationship, 3-4 times a week, sure. But if you're in a relationship and you don't live together, and if she's got kids, you got to find time. You got to, I got the kids tonight, and no mom really feels comfortable going at it in a small apartment with the child in the next bedroom. I remember I told you that Roxana, and I shouldn't use her name. I don't know why I do, because I bet her family I wish she'd stop talking about her sister. But Roxana went with me to bury my father in South Carolina. And so there was a night we stayed at my Uncle Lucius's house, this beautiful home in Statesboro. And my mother was staying in the next room. And Roxana just kept messing with me. It's like, come on. I'm like, no, my mother is in the next room. And she knew she don't have sex with me, but she just wanted to mess with me. Come on, Ralph, come on. I'm like, woman, I am not having sex with my mother. In fact, I don't think I can physiologically, with Harriet in the next room. That was kind of funny. Let's go. Let's get out of here before I incriminate more ex-girlfriends. 842-537-6842 KERN. When we come back, we'll talk about Sean Grayson. He is a bad cop. I mean, a really bad cop. And I know what you're saying. Ralph, he's on trial. He's presumption of innocence. No, this guy's had a history of problems that I'll chronicle for you. It was an incident where a woman in Springfield, Illinois, who had Well, I'll tell you about it when we come back. Plus, we'll talk a little sports at the bottom of the hour. A Texas Tech professor got fired, finally, for challenging a student who challenged her in terms of transgenderism and sexual identity. This is a great story. The student wanted to tighten up the professor and raised her hand and said, because the professor was saying, there is no sex, there is no male, there is no female. And the student was like, wait a minute. According to President Trump, you can't teach this. And she threw the kid out of the class. And the kid went to the president of Texas Tech. And I didn't get the audio. Maybe I'll play it for you tomorrow, where it gets engaged with the president. And he's like, well, what do you want us to do? And he's like, she should be fired. And he was like, well, that ain't going to happen. Well, it did. It became public. They found out what this woman said, and she did get whacked. We'll get into that, hopefully, before we get out of here. And I've got some miscellaneous audio to play. In fact, some great audio from 60 Minutes from years ago when Shohei Ohtani was just beginning to make it into the Major League Baseball league. It's kind of cool. I'll play it for you maybe at the bottom of the hour. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and
You want to do mess maker?
start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk water with the best in the business. That would be Lois Henry from sjvwater.org. We'll talk about Monday Night Football, the latest on the government shutdown, plus news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Every Thursday at 4:30, my personal and our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. Why did I call him my personal money man? Because I've now been a client with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors for almost a decade now, and it's the smartest financial move I've ever made. As I try to remind you guys, I started to get a little worried when I hit the big 6-0. And I don't want to be eating top ramen in my 70s or 80s if I'm lucky enough to get there, and don't want to depend on Social Security or my 401k. So if retirement is facing you dead in the mug, call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400, or just tune in on Thursdays at 4:30 when he joins us every week. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Trucordia, a new name, but a trusted partner for Kern County businesses. With more than 100 years of combined experience, Trucordia delivers cost-saving strategies, risk-reducing solutions, and easy online tools to simplify benefits management. Trucordia goes beyond health benefits, helping your business thrive. Call Trucordia today at 661-401-2280. Trucordia, building trust, creating harmony, protecting Kern County businesses. Trucordia, 661-401-2280.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday mornings 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You don't know how it feels to be real. Tom Petty's birthday, heavenly birthday, obviously. Never saw him in person. Sean Grayson, Springfield, Illinois police officer. Just FYI, Springfield happens to be the capital of Illinois. I was at Bill Lee's with Area a couple of weekends ago, last weekend, not this past weekend. And he is a bigger quiz guy than I am. And of the 50 states, how many did I get wrong, do you think, Mr. Burdick?
You're pretty good at this, so I would say 3.
5. Yeah.
5? Okay.
I didn't get Dover.
Huh?
I didn't get Concord.
Huh?
I didn't get, there was one easy one that I blacked out on. I got Augusta, Maine. I got some tough ones. But anyway, Springfield, Illinois is the capital of Illinois. Springfield is the capital of Illinois. And Sean Grayson is a bad cop. He is on trial for first-degree murder, official misconduct, and aggravated battery with a firearm. And I agree, he has the presumption of innocence, but he has a history of police disciplinary problems. He has 2 DUIs. One he got in the Army, and he got dishonorably discharged. And one he got as before he was hired at the Springfield, Illinois Police Department. And the question that I have, quite obviously, as you are probably thinking right now, how the hell did this guy get hired with 2 DUIs and you got kicked out of the Army? And if you look up Sonia Massey, she is the young black woman whose family now says she had mental issues, and she had called the police herself that there was a prowler going on. Mr. Grayson and another cop entered her home, and she was explaining what was going on. She was in her kitchen, and she had a pot of boiling water on the stove. And they were standing back, and she said, "I don't feel safe." And she picked up the boiling water. And Grayson was the first to point his gun at her. Once Grayson pointed her gun, his partner pointed the gun at her. Why these guys resort to the gun when they have tasers, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe Springfield doesn't have tasers, but I'm assuming that most large city police departments have tasers on their officers. Just tase the woman. I don't want to have boiling water thrown on me either, but it's not a reason to shoot somebody 3 times. And it stands out that his partner never shot his gun, his weapon, shot her in the head, and killed her. And if you watch the video, go Google Sonia Massey or Sean Grayson. He not only he comes in and he says, she grabs the tub of boiling water and he says, "You better effing not. I swear to God, I'll effing shoot you right in your effing face." And she says, "Okay, I'm sorry." And she crouches down and he shoots her anyway, 3 times, once in the head. And then when she's lying there dead or bleeding out, he says, I'm not going to take a effing pot of water in my face." They don't even go look to see if she's all right. He just stands over and promptly states, "I'm not," just a, I don't know. I hope he goes to jail for like I said, 2 DUIs, discharged from the Army, and a host of disciplinary problems. And why they don't fire people like this, this whole thing of circling the wagons around guys like this, I just can't comprehend, because it's life and death. And unless they've got it now, if she had pulled out a knife or a gun, hey, sorry, bang, bang, bang. Sorry, don't have a problem with that. You got carte blanche. If they pull a BB gun, bang, bang, bang. Sorry, shouldn't have you pull a gun on a cop, but a pot of boiling water, like you're right, it'd be horrendous It'd be dangerous. Physically, you are in danger to get boiling water pouring on you. But a taser would do the same thing, would it not? I don't know. We'll be following this trial, and I'll keep you updated on this. He said, I got the quote now. I paraphrase. He said, I'm not taking a hot boiling water to the effing face. He said after he shot her. Like, I'm justified for killing this woman because she picked up. And if you go and Google it and watch the video, you can hear her say, when he says, you better effing not, I swear to God, I'll effing shoot you right in the effing face. She crouches down and says, I'm sorry. And he shoots her anyway. That trial began today. And who knows how it's going to go. I think his past, had he not had such a crooked past, maybe he has a chance, because he was fired from the Springfield Police Department. And another kudos to Springfield, they not only fired him, but they fired the police chief as well. How the hell did you hire this guy with that kind of record? Final half hour of the broadcast on this Monday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 FM. And we're still working on the AM. We apologize. But you can go to kernradio.com or go to YouTube.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With us news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A U.S. appeals court has ruled that President Trump can take command of 200 Oregon National Guard troops, but he's still barred from actually deploying those troops, at least for now. A panel from the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 Monday to put on hold an order that kept Trump from taking command of the troops. Another order prohibits Trump from sending any Guard troops to Oregon at all. Police have arrested a man accused of threatening to open fire at the world's busiest airport in Atlanta and say an assault rifle was found in his car. Police said at a news conference Monday the 49-year-old Billy Joe Cagle of Cartersville, Georgia, had described his plan during a social media live stream. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 515 points. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
I might do that.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Deputies are on the lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with a friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered a domestic violence call in the 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators say the suspect fled in a car with his friend. He allegedly fired several gunshots while driving away. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage Lane, but the suspect was not found. The investigation is ongoing. Wasco police officers had to remove a man from a local Walmart after reports of his erratic behavior inside the store. The suspect was arrested and taken to the Lerdo jail. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Norma Diaz, owner of La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream.
Hi, I'm Norma Diaz from La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream, and I'm a client and friend of Paul Sheldon. I've known Paul for many, many years, and my parents happened to be his first clients. So, of course, I called Paul and immediately felt this peace come over me, knowing that I didn't have to freak out about making a big decision. His knowledge about Medicare and your health insurance needs are beyond compare, and I was taken care of immediately by his wonderful staff. He knew everything that I needed and what I wouldn't need, so I was pretty much in and out of there in record time. If you're getting to that age or you're going to be needing to know about Medicare, then he's the one to call. He will totally help you out and get you pointed in the right direction. You're going to leave there feeling a great accomplishment and no concerns. And even if you have questions later, his staff can help you out. Those feelings are just priceless to me. So call Paul. You'll be glad you did.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Tuesday edition Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. Has the government shutdown continued? We will break down the absolute latest on all of that for you. Plus, we will be joined by Senator Marsha Blackburn. She was targeted by the Biden administration. They actually were checking to see who she was calling and what was going on with her cell phone. So we'll break all that down for you. Come hang with us on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels to be real.
Going wall to wall, Tom Petty. It's his heavenly birthday today, as they say on Facebook and Instagram. We got a new segment. I don't know if it's a new segment, but it's just something that I just, I told you I'm addicted to these reels and these films and these. You get an algorithm and you get to see all kind of different videos. Johnny Carson interviews are my favorite. Johnny doing Carson the Mac. What would he call it? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Karnak the Magnificent. Just seeing those old videos. And one of the things that I saw, I sent this to you, right? You got this. Shohei. This is from a 60-minute piece on Shohei Ohtani. And I think it was done prior to him. I can't remember now. I think it was done prior to him or as he was coming to the Angels. But anyway.
It was 2017, so I think it was right when he got there.
Yeah. Okay. This is a 60-minute piece that loses a lot, obviously, because it's not video. But I just thought it'd be fun to play this.
Even from a distance, plenty of observations can be made about the pitching slugger, or the slugging pitcher. He is meticulous, stopping mid-pitch to adjust his form, open to advice from his batting coaches. Even baseball tedium provides a source of enjoyment. This is someone who plays baseball but has always worked at it too. Ohtani grew up in a small industrial town on Japan's mainland. His father, once an amateur player himself, coached his son's Little League teams. Shohei Ohtani showed promise as a hitter but drew more interest as a pitcher, occasioning stealth visits from American scouts while he was still in high school. At age 18, he held a press conference to announce his major league intentions and went so far as to tell Japanese teams not to draft him. But the Nippon Ham Fighters, again known for doing things their own way, drafted him nonetheless.
Every other team besides the Fighters was looking at me as a pitcher. But the Fighters were going to allow me to do both pitching and hitting. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about doing both on a professional level. But they approached me in that way, and I wanted to take the chance.
That's your fastball grip?
Fastball.
Splitter. You have splitter? True to their word, the Fighters have cultivated Ohtani as a hitter as well as a pitcher. We asked him about his forebear.
People have compared you to Babe Ruth. What do you think about when you hear the name Babe Ruth?
He's like a mythical character to me. Because it's such a long time ago and he was God to baseball. I shouldn't be compared to him. At least not right now.
Is that the whole piece? Chris? Is that it? Yeah. Well, he can be now. In fact, I think it's pretty much accepted that he's exceeded Babe Ruth.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, that Friday was the single greatest postseason performance ever. And we could argue that last season, where was he when he went 6 for 6 and he got into the 50-50 club and he went 6 for 6 that day with like 2 home runs. He almost had the cycle. And that was the day that he'd already had 50-something stolen bases.
Right.
But that's the day he got into the 50 club, and I think he had 2 that day. That's arguably one of the greatest regular season performances in the history of baseball. And then Friday, 3 home runs and 3 at bats. Well, 4 technically, but he walked on 1, so it's technically not an at bat for those who don't know anything about baseball. And 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, I think 2 hits, and
2 hits, given up 3 walks.
3 walks. I mean, it's crazy. And
100%.
A-Rod, and you know when A-Rod first said this, I was like, now let's don't get crazy now, because A-Rod said, there's no question, he's the greatest athlete on the planet. And I'm like, okay, slow down.
No, this dude's the greatest
I'm
athlete
like,
ever.
yeah, because there's no football player that's more dominant than this guy. There's no basketball player that's as dominant as this guy.
Nope.
And there's certainly nobody in MLB. Yeah. And he is a freak. He is a unicorn. And I just found out, did you know this, that he didn't even know he was pitching Friday? They determined that. That's what I heard, that they determined that like after they were up 3-0 and they were just like, why
Honestly,
not?
wouldn't be surprised.
You think he's going to pitch in this series against either Toronto or Seattle?
Yeah, I think at this point, why not go with a 4-man rotation? Why not? 7 games, you would end up with Glass now at the end if you absolutely needed him. And it'd most likely be wrapped up in 5 games anyway.
Yeah. You think?
It depends who you play, but
you know, I almost came in here. I forgot to do what I was going to do today. Is he still here? JR still
here? I think so, yeah.
I was gonna barge into his show and be like, what have you done? And he's going to be like, what? What are you talking about, Ralph? Get out of my show. Get out of my studio. And I was like, dude, we found the anti-mush because the broom came through and now it's gone.
Oh, that's my fault.
Well, we got to get that broom back. Well, we can wait till Friday. When's it start? Start on Friday?
We can wait till Friday.
If you all are going to blame me for losses, why can't I blame the broom on the sweep?
Because the broom just showed up on the last day of the sweep.
And we got the
there
sweep
from the get-go.
Well, we got the sweep.
If you guys broke out the broom before game 1 and said you were going to sweep them, I would allow that to be a thing. But because you broke it out of game 4 as a joke gag, no.
I'm deeming that as the anti-mush. And if I have to put it back in. In fact, where is the broom?
No, there's no such thing as an anti-mush until you use that thingy right there.
What?
And it comes true. That yellow, wherever your yellow cone went.
My
megaphone.
Yeah. No, I'm not mushing this. I want this one bad. I want this one more than last year's. You know what I'm saying? Because it just seems like such a long waste of a season, and to get so hot at the end, and then to spit the bit right at the end. And, you know, I started thinking about what you said. Chris was saying that this layoff is not good for us. So now you got me all panicked. Because if we were to spit the bit and lose to these guys, either Toronto or Seattle, has that started?
That has, yes.
What do we got?
It's on Fox. It is currently 1-1 at the end of the first.
Well, of course it is. Because you know what's going to – it's I write this down. And remember that the mush told you this. I guarantee you that it comes down to the 9th inning or it goes into extra innings tonight. I have no idea who's going to win because I'm the mush, and I'm hoping that Seattle. We don't want to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Max Scherzer, and no, I want to see the big dumper.
If you are correct, I only see Toronto getting out of this because there's no way Seattle goes extra innings in back-to-back series and wins. Because remember the 15-inning game at the end of the last series?
Yeah.
Like, not to mention if they do survive that and then have to go and play you guys.
That's what I'm hoping. They go into extra and they have to burn up all their pitchers.
Imagine they actually pull that off too.
When does it start? The World Series?
Friday.
And where are we? Monday? Yeah. Their rotation Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They could still start their ace Friday. Because their ace is neither one of the guys tonight are the ace, right?
Shane Bieber, technically, I would say, is the ace for Toronto.
So he would start at game 1?
More than likely, yeah.
Would they start him on
3-4 days
Tuesday,
rest?
Wednesday, Thursday? 3 days? No, they wouldn't start him 3 days rest.
Probably not. Yeah, no, you're probably right. They probably go with like Gossman or Scherzer. Or I'm sorry. Max Scherzer. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind facing Max. We hit Max well, or at least we did when he was with the Mets. As I remember.
Wouldn't surprise me at all that you guys continue that, to be honest.
He was with Texas for a hot second, wasn't he?
Yeah, him and DeGrom both.
Yeah, we hit him well there too. So I don't mind facing Max. Although he got into a classic one night with Kershaw. And there's that audio we have of Vin where they were both coming in together and they pitched on the same night, Max and Clayton. But do I have time? Should I play the Rush Limbaugh, the Charlie Kirk thing, or wait till
Yeah,
tomorrow?
you got time for it.
This I just found, another miscellaneous audio. This is Rush Limbaugh, and you can tell by the tenor of Rush's voice that it's at the end of his career, because remember, right when I finally got to be the benefactor of Rush Limbaugh, because I used to hate Scott and Inga when I was over at the other station, because we all, I wasn't we at the time, had Limbaugh. And the rule in radio is you could fart for 3 hours after Rush Limbaugh and get great numbers. That's how badass Rush was. And I always was envious. I didn't hate him. I was envious of Scott and Inga that they were working on a station where Rush is. And then I finally moved to Clear Channel and we got Rush. And literally a month after we had him, he left because he had the ear problem where he almost went deaf. And I was like, this is the Bailey luck. I'm in this business for 7 years. My opponents have Rush Limbaugh. I finally moved to a station that has Rush Limbaugh, and he's out for 6 months with an ear problem, and he comes back, and his voice just wasn't the same. It never got back to that deep voice, as you can tell in this audio. But this is Limbaugh talking about a young kid that he just recently met by the name of Charlie Kirk.
There was a conference. What was it? Turning Point USA. How many kids were there? And there 3,000 student activists here it was actually over at West Palm Beach. And this is a group that has been put together and operates under the auspices of Charlie Kirk, right? Who is you're going to be hearing that name if you haven't. Charlie Kirk. Let me just tell you. I don't want to jinx him. But I'm just going to tell you, they brought Charlie Kirk to the golf course to meet me about a month ago. He was in town to set up this Turning Point thing, and they brought him to the golf course to meet me. It was we were getting ready for a 8:45 a.m. start, and they brought him out while I was getting ready to go to the range to loosen up. And I spoke with him for about a half hour, and he told me how he grew up in a home where my program was on all the time. He was just effusively complimentary to me, which I, of course, understood and told him he's very wise. His family's very wise. He chuckled. He laughed. This is the kind of guy that you can see really becoming big in politics as he gets older. He just has the carriage, the personality, the charisma. You may think this sounds weird, but I remember when Bill Clinton became president, there were all of these stories about Bill Clinton at Oxford and Bill Clinton at Yale and Bill Clinton here and all these people who went to school with him. There was story after story after story where people were saying that they just knew Bill Clinton was going to be president someday. In college, he just had that kind of ambition and he impressed people in a way that he could. Telling you that people are saying the same things about Charlie Kirk.
That Rush was a genius. He really was. And he's right. There are some people that have it all. They're like a 5-tool baseball player. I know you're not going to want to hear this, but they often said that when Obama was at Harvard, that there was nobody in America who thought when Barack Obama, because he's a year and a day older than I am, so that makes him 52. But anyway, he's a year and a day older than I am. Obama is. He's born August 4th, 61. And nobody in the 1980s could have thought that Barack Obama or any other brother was ever going to live in the White House. But they did say if it could happen, it would be Barack. And they did say that about Clinton. And there's the famous picture that I'm sure most of you have seen where Bill Clinton is 16 years old. He's part of a youth group in Arkansas that travel to Washington, and he gets to meet John Kennedy. And there's actually a picture of a young, I think he was 16 at the time, Bill Clinton shaking hands with John Kennedy. It's a great picture. There are people like that. And I think Rush was right. I think had Charlie Kirk lived till he was 36 years old, at some point in his life, I do think he would have been president of the United States. I really do. I don't think there's been anybody that I can point to in American politics that has the charisma over young people the way Charlie Kirk did. And like I said, even after his death, shortly after his death, not on the day of, like so many people did, there are a lot of things that Charlie Kirk said I didn't agree with, and that I kind of winced at. But I think Limbaugh was a genius. And he spotted it right off. That's long before anybody. It's before he got, you hear him say that turning point thing, and now it's a mega organization that recruits and brings in young people and is let me put it this way. Maybe Trump wins without Charlie Kirk, but he didn't win Arizona. That's where Charlie Kirk is from, and he delivered gargantuan independence and gargantuan young people. He was a dynamic young man who was a can't miss, and even Rush Limbaugh saw it at a very, very young age with Charlie Kirk. And could you tell by his voice that he'd had the ear thing? He didn't have the bass that he did when I first got into radio and heard Mr. Limbaugh. Final break of the night. Tomorrow's a Tuesday, which means our former federal magistrate judge Teresa Goldner is joining us, and I have something tenuous, and I can't remember what it is, but I'll remember tonight and book them, so we'll have another guest tomorrow because we've talked about it. Oh, one of the leaders of Bakersfield Country Club, either the president or another member of the board, is going to join us. They just celebrated their 75th anniversary at Bakersfield Country Club, so we'll talk with them as well. In the meantime, keep it locked. The Charlie Kirk Show coming up at the top of the hour. And now you're still listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1.
I didn't put up the
AM 1180
my stuff.
KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty
I'm
show,
getting tired of doing
really
that every day.
fascinating observations on America becoming over-feminized. Takes men, takes women, of course, in balance. We are way out of balance.
And we'll update you on the shutdown.
Please.
Any actual news of the day, we'll have that for you on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KE.
You ready to do promo?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
How do I do this? Three, two. So again, this is why it is so important that if you know a veteran, particularly a World War II veteran, get them on the honor flight plane. We just lost Billy Burke, a World War II hero and a man who was just short of his 101st birthday. And I was fortunate enough to travel with Mr. Burke to Washington, interview him and meet with him. He was engaging, he was smart, and he was an incredible man. It is a tremendous loss, but a man who led an incredible life. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Tuesday TRB as well. It's a Tuesday. Our former federal magistrate judge, Teresa Goldner, will join us. And one of the representatives of Bakersfield Country Club will be on the broadcast. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary in the Northeast. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. I'll see you at 3.
Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan.
Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-2007. That's 800-298-2007. 800-298-2007.
Join Bakersfield Community Theater for a magical night under the stars gala celebration on November 1st at the Bakersfield Community Theater on 19th Street in downtown Bakersfield. Enjoy fine dining by Chef Lino, captivating magic by Josiah, and special community awards honoring local legends. Help raise the curtain on a new era for California's oldest continuously operating community theater. Tickets and sponsorships available now at bctstage.org. Experience the magic. Celebrate the legacy.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed.
Awesome selection. Awesome. Yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are redemptive. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
That's when you know we got a superstar. Because we've gone wall to wall Tom Petty. And there's not one song I didn't know. Not one that you played that I don't know the lyrics to, that I don't know. I mean, just everything he touched was a hit. And I never saw him in person. Saw the Cars. Saw the Beach Boys on New Year's Eve. That was one of the greatest concerts I'd ever been to at the Forum. Saw Earth, Wind, and Fire. I saw Boston. I wasn't a big concert guy. I'm still not. I've seen some great concerts here in Bakersfield, to be honest with you. I've seen Elton John here. I saw Ray Charles here at the Fox. I saw B.B. King at, it wasn't Mechanics back then, but I saw him there. That's the famous Mark Salvaggio story, where Mr. Salvaggio was, I'm not going to tell it. Yeah, I'm going to tell it. Where Mr. Salvaggio was sitting in front of us. I was with Roxana. And he got up and left and said he's not going to listen to any more of this nigger music. And I was just new into radio. And I looked at Roxanne and she looked at me. He was a councilman at the time. And I said, oh, I cannot wait to talk about this in the morning on my show. And Roxanne was like, don't. And I go, why? A city councilman just dropped the N-bomb and said about B.B. King. And she was like, nobody will believe you, Ralph. It's a city councilman versus you. You will lose. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to marry you one day. No, I said, you're right. And I never discussed it. I've talked about it several times now. I'll never forget that. I was like, holy kingfish. I got a couple of minutes. What do you got left? We haven't even checked the board today at all. What do you got?
Let's see. Ralph, you are not doing it for you. It's for her health.
So my blood pressure doesn't come down. My self-esteem doesn't.
No, I think they're saying that's the way you should frame it. Not necessarily like it's good for my health. It's good for you.
Oh, for my line.
Yeah, exactly. Just helping her out now.
I see what you're saying, baby. I can improve your immune system. I can bring down your blood pressure. Exactly. You're gonna sleep better.
We won't fight no more.
We're not gonna fight. Come on, baby. And if you weren't with us earlier, go to YouTube and watch it because I'm not. It's way too much to explain. One more. Let's get out of here.
Real quick, we got a call.
Oh, we got
Sean's on the line.
Sean, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, Ralph Bailey, how you doing?
I'm great, Sean. How you doing?
Hey, real quick, Rush Limbaugh was a genius.
Yeah, he was.
But regarding Charlie Clark, in my humble opinion, he was a propagandist and he was an idiot. So that's all I got to say. Rest in peace.
All right, man. Thanks. You can't call the man an idiot. You can disagree with him. You can disagree with him. You can criticize some of the things that he said. Chiefly, I saw a black pilot, and I just hope that he was qualified, which I have a really big problem with. And ever since I've stated that, I've had several callers and people try to explain what he meant. He meant that because he may have been a DEI hire, that he might not have been as qualified as the other candidates. That's not how it works. That's not how affirmative action worked. That's not how DEI works. And then the same person I was in the discussion with said the same thing happened at Harvard, Ralph. And I said, do you really think those students that the white and the Asian kids had a problem with that were getting in ahead of them didn't have 4.0s? Yes, they made room for black folks with affirmative action, but those people were still qualified. It wasn't as if they lowered the standards, and they don't lower the standards for pilots, even if it is DEI, even if the policy of Delta is we're going to go out and find some black pilots. They don't lower the standards simply because they're black. And it's an insult to think that they would or that they have to, because the Tuskegee Airmen are arguably some of the greatest flyers that America has ever seen. And I hate to have to end the show on me being angry and yelling, but the point is, you can't call Charlie Kirk stupid. You can't call him a motivator and a mover. And I do believe, had he lived longer, he would have eventually been president of the United States. I really do. But we all have our opinion, Sean, and you are certainly welcome to it. In the meantime, I got to get out of here. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. An Amazon outage has disrupted global online services.
Internet users around the world faced widespread disruption early on Monday because of a problem at Amazon's cloud computing service. The issue took down dozens of major online services, including social media sites Snapchat, the Roblox and Fortnite video games, and the chat app Signal. About 3 hours after the outage, Amazon Web Services said it was starting to recover from the issue. Amazon Web Services provides behind-the-scenes cloud computing infrastructure to many government departments, universities, and businesses.